Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between, yeah, it's all that. And we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to What's Talk Raps. You're listening to What's Talk Raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. It is I. It is he. Your favorite low talker on a Monday, not a Saturday. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. And I am here with the guy that is the reason we weren't here on a Saturday. Righteous Reg. How are you? How was your vacation, man?
Fresh off a vacation. It's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. I'm darker. I'm more chill.
I'm darker.
Life is great. I'm back from Hawaii and I'm ready for the podcast. Philip Lindsey, I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling relaxed. There's some drama happening in the world. I don't even care about it anymore. I'm just
drama.
Like, who cares, man?
Drama in pro wrestling?
What are y'all so upset? Why is everybody so upset, Phil? They're just so mad. I'm just like, I'm chill, dog. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. What's up with you, Phil? How you been?
I did see you posting things from the vacay. I saw at one point you had like the waterfall joint behind you, and you were like, no worries, and you were like, man, y'all are mad at this, and people were like, but meanwhile 42 hours ago, and I'm like, y'all ain't see my man in the water.
I'm in the water, big dog.
Like, I don't know, he was out there in the water, like, and y'all were trying to bring up old tweets and shit. It's like,
I'm bringing up old tweets. Yeah, I don't care, dog. I am chill. I'm in the chill zone. I don't can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. But yeah, I don't know what time it is, what day it is. I don't know nothing in the world, but I am here and I'm ready to pod and I'm excited about it. How's everybody out there? I'm happy for you guys joining us. Thanks for taking 2 extra days to join us since I wasn't here on Saturday, but I'm happy to be here on Monday. We could do it just the same, Phil, you know?
Yeah, no, we are here. We will be back at our regular scheduled time
this Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monday. Have a lot to talk about between pay-per-view last night. Pretty great pay-per-view. All things considered. Had New Japan stuff from Saturday morning as well. You've got people shooting. Pew, pew, pew. A lot of shooting going on out in these streets.
You can say that is all I was saying. But yes, very excited to talk about that. I was like, I'm not going to look at nothing, but everybody was talking about this. And I was like, all right, got to watch it. Amazing. We'll get into it. But yeah, there's some stuff to talk about. It's been a pretty busy week of wrestling, it feels like. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah. No, as always, send us your super chats. That is the best way to get your message read on this here podcast. You can also send us your Humper Chats at humperchats.com/Fightful.
Please do. Please. Thank you for supporting. Thank you guys always for being here with us. We appreciate your support every time. Every tweet, every Discord, every Blue Sky, everything that you guys send talking to us, talking about us. It's amazing. It's great. We're getting set up for a couple weeks from now to be in Las Vegas. So if you see us out in those streets, definitely say what's up. It's definitely about to be Mixie Boys in the building.
Yeah, I seen the homie Kel look like he was trying to set you up.
Yo, no. There's been a couple. I'm like, hold on a second. Maybe take me out of this.
Looked like he was trying to line my man up, bro.
There was a couple of extra ones. I'm like, you know what? But shout out to the homie Kel. Shout out to the homie Andreas. Excited to see a bunch of people in Vegas. People have been hitting me up saying they're going to be there. Tracy, Alex is going to be there. Very exciting times. Shout out to all the homies excited about it. What else is going on this week, Phil? I just checked out the little bit of wrestling stuff. I don't know, no music that came out. Will Smith videos, and you saw that freestyle that he did on Lyrical Lemonade or whatever?
I saw it. I saw someone put it over the Dr. Bird's beat, and I got a good laugh out of that. Yeah,
that was pretty. That was giggle worthy, as they would say. What he doing, Phil?
I still haven't listened to his album. No. It's he outside. He's doing the usual press tour that goes with it. I saw him on Sneaker Shopping, and he said something on Sneaker Shopping. I was like, dang, he might be might be right.
What'd he say?
Because Joe, towards the end of it, asked him, people have said that Fresh Prince is the most influential TV show for sneakerheads. And, of course, Will was like, I'm not going to say that. But, if the people said, and I was like, nah, really, if we get into it, bro, what he was doing on there with the Jays, nah, man. He said at one point that he would, like, be backstage and they'd be like, come on, you got to get on set. And he's like telling everybody to hold up until the sneakers get there, man. Like putting a pause on filming because you're waiting for your sneaker to get there is hilarious.
There's only one show, coincidentally enough, that can compete with it, and that's Seinfeld. People would never in their life think, but the shoes that Jerry Seinfeld was wearing for the entire run of Seinfeld are some of the craziest sneakers of all time. So that's the only one that I would put up against the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Maybe Martin.
Martin?
Maybe Martin. I know he talked about going back and forth with Martin and going up to the office, the Nike offices too at one point.
I wanted the Space Jams because of Martin, seeing them on Martin, and I was like, oh, those are hard. I have to have those. So yeah, you got to put him up there too.
Yeah, it's a good episode of Sneaker Shopping. At the end, he does the usual where Joe takes him around the store and he picks up the shoes he wants. But because it's Will Smith and this guy does not need any shoes. I'm sure they send him shoes. He was talking about how he has not gone in a store to buy shoes in years, which of course because it's Will Smith.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And so he brought a bunch of kids from his high school to buy shoes. Brought like the kids in, and so all the kids are in there and they had like their Letterman jackets. There was this one kid though the whole time just me mug the whole time. He was like and every time we cut back to him I was like, yo, what's up with this dude? Man, what's up with this kid? Like he a Chris Rock fan? Like what's going on?
Yeah, nah, he was like, nah, we out here. Tony Rock sent me.
Bro, the whole time he just straight face, like the whole time, like he had that look on his face, like y'all think this dude is funny, like this dude is corny. Like I was like, yo, what's going on? This guy's buying you some gym shoes, bro. Like what's going on?
One of our legends, big dog. But yeah, things are like that are why I could never, no matter what, slander the big dog. Like even if the new album's not for me, it's still the OG legend forever.
Yeah, nah. Really great episode. I did not listen to the album. The Willie the Kid album is really great. I was actually listening to it while I was sitting here setting up stuff for the stream. Really, really like it.
So you had time to listen to the Willie the Kid, but you didn't dedicate time to Big Willie Styles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. Fair enough. You're not gonna play it, is what you're saying.
I might check it out. I can't say that it's a priority for me.
Love him, but no.
Big fan of Will Smith. Can't say that I'm clamoring for Will Smith raps in 2025.
Yeah, I listened to that Lyrical Lemonade and it sounded like Ludacris raps, and I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at you because you started this. Essentially.
Listen, man. Guy can still rap.
He can rap,
but yeah,
not my kind of raps though.
No, you want the beatless, you want the drumless beat loops, and you want the very dark coke raps. That's what you want.
Definitely. If Will Smith gets with Alchemist, he might change my mind. I don't know. Or Conductor.
Will Smith doing a whole album with Alchemist sounds fucking hilarious.
I bet you Alchemist would be up for
it. Sure, of course he would. He's putting together the album with Erykah Badu right now. That should be dope.
That's gonna be fire. Or the Conductor. We have a problem when Will Smith comes in. That'd be pretty hard.
Conductor. Yeah, hilarious, bro.
And the Fresh Prince comes in. Shout out to Will Smith though, still a legend. I don't care what none of y'all say. I'm sure he's gonna sell a lot of them raps to somebody.
Of course. And while I'm sitting here and saying I don't want to hear his raps in 2025, listen. I'm going to outright call you a liar if you tell me you were not in front of your TV during the Men in Black video doing all of the fucking dance stuff to this video. You are a liar. I don't believe you. Listen, because we all were.
If I said I didn't, I'd get struck down right now from whatever source because I was right in front doing the arms, the legs, the slaps. Come on, man. We were all doing it. Our generation, at least,
No, Will's that guy, man. I like I said, I can't say I'm rushing to listen to this album, but I ain't accepting no slander, bro.
But it is kind of how his career has always been. Like he's always like, I do appreciate that he's still Will Smith. Like there's some curses in there, but to try to stay current and relevant. But it's still like this is a Will Smith rap album that's different than all the other rap albums.
Yeah, nah, you was in the switch.
Oh, nah. Couldn't.
Cooking, bro. No, listen, man.
The switch time was wild though. He's had a bunch of different personalities, and like the music will be way different than the last time. And it's like, all right.
Produced by hip hop legend Kwame.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And well, let me bring that. I said legend. Let me bring that down.
Yeah,
a little bit.
mean, listen.
But it's still Kwame.
We be throwing that word around, Phil, and it hit for some people, but like not all the time.
Kwame and the polka dots, bro. I'm sure there are people that don't know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, nah.
Switch.
What? Who, was that a song for who is his target audience with that is all I'm asking. I don't really know.
It's club.
Club.
Hmm?
Were they playing it in the club? Because every club that I went to, I never heard Switch.
Listen, I don't know.
And like that came out like right when I started going to the club. Like T-Pain songs were going crazy, but Switch was not. They were not switching over to Switch.
I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't know if he hit the.
I would say I was there. That's all I'm saying. And the clubs that I was at.
Nah. He's had records that. In Miami joint?
Oh yeah.
We gonna say that didn't go off in the club?
That's before my time, though. I wasn't there. I wasn't out there though. I know that definitely went off. That was not like Miami playing it loud, trying to dance with somebody. I don't know what's up. This is hard. That's when they were trying to put the allegations on Nas, which they still try to do it. Oh, that Drink Champs is coming out with him, and I think Nori asked him about it. You haven't seen that? There's clips of it.
With him and Nas?
No, with Will Smith on Drink Champs.
Will's gonna drink?
That's up in the air.
I can't see him up there.
I wouldn't think so.
Like pounding shots with DJ Enough. That sounds crazy.
No, I couldn't imagine. Like when I saw the clip, he's getting into his Will Smith motivational bag, of course. But I'm like, maybe Nori gets him to take a drink of some wine or something. I don't know.
That sounds interesting. Might have to check that out. I still haven't listened to him on $1 million worth of game either.
Oh,
yeah. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. I don't know why we got into the Will Smith thing for a while there, but yeah, you can join in on the conversation if you like Will Smith, if you think Fresh Prince is influential, if you think Men in Black is a great film, if you love the Wild Wild West soundtrack, just chime in here with us.
Yeah, send us your super chats and your humper chats.
Let's get into a few of them before we move forward, yeah? Tony P says, betting odds of Flair KOing Tiff if she didn't run.
That segment was definitely something. That is the funniest part of the entire segment. I very much wonder how that would have went if it didn't get cut the way it did. Everything about it just
woo, and then hitting a 3-pointer with the mic, like duh.
Hit the 3-pointer. Let's just get into it. So Friday night, one of the biggest talking points out of SmackDown was this Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton segment. Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton's feud has been quite a mixed bag, to say the least.
Yes.
They had that segment 2 weeks ago where they had the side-by-side backstage interview bit that WWE likes to do.
Infamous bit.
Yeah. The consensus was that Charlotte dominated the segment because she stepped on quite a few things that Tiff tried to say, was talking over at certain points, was getting her shit in, and Tiff came off looking not great, to say the least. I thought that Tiff came out of that segment.
She was outclassed, to say. You know what I mean? Like it looked. You could tell that Charlotte was the veteran and Tiffany was the new person here.
Yes. So we got this segment in ring, in front of the Chicago crowd.
If any crowd to be in front of, right, Philip Lindsey?
In front of the Chicago crowd. And I could tell it was going to be one of those from the beginning when they're starting this whole thing out. Both of them are in the ring. They're both gesturing to the crowd, and that crowd started booing Charlotte immediately. And she's like, "You hear that? That's power." And I was like,
But you can see it in her face that she didn't even mean it.
I don't know. So this segment went on usual, run of the mill stuff. Tiffany started getting her stuff in, and when Charlotte started to talk, that crowd started booing. I mean, boo-wing, buddy. They were giving her not the woo wings, the boo wings, buddy.
Yes, straight up.
They were giving her the boo wings, buddy.
Did not want to hear it. Not one word. We don't care.
And this is where it went downhill, because if I know anything about the Chicago crowd, we are ruthless in this city, buddy. Once we know that once we know you're gotten to, it's over. So once she stopped and she was looking around and she was allowing them to boo and paying attention to them, that was the worst thing she could have done, because that encouraged them to get louder. And every time she did it, they would just get louder and louder. At one point, she turned around and was like, "Chicago," and they all just like collectively was like, "Boo!"
And she kept looking at the crowd and looking at Tiffany and looking at the crowd like, "Chicago, can I?" And they're like, "No."
No, it wasn't hitting at all. It was a big 12v1 out there. She could not fight both that crowd and Tiffany.
She was trying to get him back to be like, "Look, you guys, no, it's not even like that. I'm trying to talk to Tiffany," and they were like, "Nope, we don't care about that."
At one point, she goes, and when you're out here in front of the smartest fans, and they were like, "Boo!"
I was like, "No, Charlotte's pandering to try to get him back, and it did not work."
And that is always the thing that's said about the Chicago crowd. They're very smarky fans, and so you're gonna come across the fans that don't want those guys that are considered the chosen guy, and that is a historic thing with Chicago wrestling fans. They want the underdog. They want the one that the company is not behind. That's why they were against Cena. That's why they were against Roman for a long time. I've seen Roman come here and get booed out the building. And Charlotte's the same thing. The consensus here, the perception of her is that, no, you're who the company wants to push. We don't want you. And so by default, even if we're not that big of Tiffany fans, we're rocking with Tiffany. We're not rocking with you because you feel ingenuine. And the more you try to do this, hey guys, well, what do you want me to say? The worse it's going to get, because you feel ingenuine.
That part was crazy too. Well, what do you guys want me to say right now? Charlotte, what do you mean? This is not how you get through this. You got to start commanding this crowd. And for somebody that's been in this game for a long time, Phil, she's been in some of the biggest crowd, in front of some of the biggest crowds, in front of some of the most hostile crowds. Immediately it was over. Like, soon as she saw that Chicago wasn't in, she was like stumbling through her words, trying to figure out what to say, trying to pander to them. It was just such a quick transformation for like a veteran.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was the most confused about, is why, as long as she's been doing this, why didn't she just power through it? Why did she keep like trying to stop and like react to them? Because every time she did that, I felt it got worse. Yeah. So, and then Tiffany, making the most out of the moment, she said at one point, and again, this emboldened the crowd even more to be on her side. She says, your biggest opponent isn't ever anybody in this ring. It's them. It's the fans, because they don't believe you. And I was like, oh no. And boy, did that line cut deep. It cut deep.
It hurt. I could feel it through the screen.
And so, she stops and she's starting to pause again. So Tiff keeps getting her bars in, very pointed bars. Some stuff we haven't heard before. We've heard before, of course, like the Ric Flair stuff. You're always going to be second to Ric Flair. You're Nepo baby. Nepo queen. Get it right. Nepo queen, which again, Charlotte. Again, the big piece of this is we know Charlotte's a good wrestler.
Yes.
We know Charlotte is good at what she does. But if the perception here is that you're only getting all of these opportunities because of who your father is and because you have always been the one that the company likes, either lean into that and be that person, or you can't try to make light of it. You can't do both. Right. You can't come back as a heel, and I said this after the Royal Rumble win as well. You can't come back as a heel, do this vignette coming back like, I'm tired of being humble about my greatness. Right. I am the greatest in this. All right, then be that. Don't come back and then also want to do that and then try to get sympathy as well. It just doesn't work. You can't do both.
Can't be halfway.
You got to be full in on the character. And you and I should say this before we get into the rest of this, because I do feel a bit bad for her, because she's gone through a lot with the whole injury thing, the stuff in her personal life. This was a very catastrophic injury. Like, she blew out her knee. Like, this wasn't just like she tore multiple ligaments in her knee. So this was a very scary injury to work back from. She had been gone for a year. That was the longest I think she's ever been out for her career. And then you got all this stuff in her personal life that's going on. I get it. But I just don't think you can come back in the way that you came back and win the Rumble. Very unpopular decision by WWE, and also come back against somebody that the fans are liking. The fans have been showing you that they like all year, from the Elimination Chamber stuff. She got that big pop in Perth, and just like coming off of the babyface turn with Nia. The fans are behind her. So the perception of you is going to be that, oh, you're going to come in and you're just going to beat her, and you're going to, and that, especially the stuff last week in the segment, it looks like, oh, you're coming back to bury her. Right. And so some fans are already against you, and then you try to do the, well, guys, I had it really hard. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. Even if that's the truth, they don't want to hear that. Right. And so when we get into the end of this promo, we're winding it down, and Tiff really starts getting the personal jabs in. You could see the shift. Like, you could see how she was rattled by the crowd, and you could see the change of her facial expressions when she dropped the line of, and when this is all said and done, you're going to end up just like you are outside of the ring, alone. And when she said alone, you could see her face change. And again, I felt bad because it looked like she was going to cry. And I was like, oh, no. And it looked like, it was like these changes were instant. It went from me trying to do the Charlotte Flair in promo smile to, wait a minute, I'm upset, to I'm mad. So the people that I saw that were saying this looked like it was scripted, guys, I was like, no, she looked visibly upset, guys. I don't think
it was scripted. She's a great actress, and I don't know if she's that great of an actress to have those real emotions change in that quick, like you're saying.
She looked upset by the end of this. And so, she dropped the line, if you're going to end up alone, what are you, 0-3? Whoa, drops the mic, immediately darts out of the ring.
Out of there, gone. Powders out, as they say. She was out of there, so gone. Woo!
Immediately darts out the ring, rolls out the ring. Charlotte tries to chase her to the rope, and that's when we get the, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? And I was like, all right, maybe not. And it was like my facial expression and my facial expression was the exact same as Wade's, where he's like,
yeah. I'm like, wait, how did Kaiser get in this? But that's a legendary thing that people do when you're getting cooked. You're like, well, what about this? I'm cooking you, and it's like, that's not anything. It's not real, but it's like
that was
say something.
That was definitely her doing the put on a beat. Nah, baby, it's over. I'm sorry.
Nah. You are cooked.
It's over. And to continue to see that it was over, because she was, as she's going to the rope to try to say that, you can see Tiffany rounding the corner and like going towards Gorilla. She's got the belt up, beating her chest like, got one, got her, bodied her.
Got one. She got her. She bodied her. It's true. Listen, you got to get yours in, as the brought up Seinfeld earlier. As the famous George Costanza once said, you got to leave on the high note. She hit her 3, like I said, with the mic, got up out of there. Before Charlotte could get hers back, she's already in the back.
Bro, definitely had her hand up like Giddy. 3 at the...
She hit the 3 at the line, dog.
Hit that 3 at the logo. Bro, there are so many bits of this where I was like, this is very uncomfortable. Yes. But that part of it, her rolling out of the ring and darting out of there and then storming out like Regina George, dying laughing at that point. Fucking hilarious, bro.
Amazing.
Funny. Gets to the ramp and is holding the belt upside down. No, there's a new queen out here, Charlotte. Hilarious, bro. dying at this whole thing because she was so proud of herself.
Yeah.
You would have thought she stood up to the biggest bully in school.
It felt like, I think that's what kind of she was celebrating. She like, I stood up to the biggest bully in school. People have been in her same position and the same thing. And Charlotte has done this thing to them. So like for it to kind of happen to her, she felt like when you show up to prison from the first day and punch the biggest guy in the nose, she punched the biggest prisoner in the nose and she took her victory lap. Listen, Phil, after what happened 2 weeks ago, people were talking crazy about her. They were saying that she got gotten to. They were saying that Charlotte stepped over a bunch of her lines, that Charlotte did this. So I don't even know if she came in with the vengeance because people are saying that Charlotte is the one that first stepped out of line. I'm like, I don't know where, but like things happen that we're not privy to. And they said that Tiffany was just rebutting the things that were shot at her by Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, the thing I thought in the side-by-side segment was, okay, Charlotte's clearly ad-libbing here and going off script. And on surface, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just think the way it looked, the way she dominated the promo, it just didn't look good on Tiffany's part. She just didn't give her any room to seemingly stand up for herself. She just looked bad the whole time. And I could see why, if you're Tiffany, you're looking like you did that on purpose. You made me look bad. And so the next time I get a chance, I'm going to get my get back. And boy, she came into this promo with the concerted effort to get some get back, and it got ugly. That's why I saw people saying, oh, well, if both of them went off script, what's the problem? Tiffany is the one that made it personal. Guys, one thing that I've seen multiple times from wrestlers, if I think you're intentionally trying to make me look bad and you're trying to fuck up my push, it's personal. Yep. It don't matter. It don't matter what you think you're doing. If the plan is this and this is the script and you go into this segment and make me look bad, no, it's personal now.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand. Like, if people are like, "Oh, Charlotte was in kayfabe," no, it doesn't matter about kayfabe. If you're out here trying to intentionally damage my career in real time in front of the crowd, this is personal. It's all personal. Yes. There isn't a line.
Yeah, and I don't know that was Charlotte's intent, but like I said, because this is wrestling, and there's so many blurred lines between this, I could see Tiffany feeling that way. Like, nah, if you're gonna try and make me look bad, next time I get a chance, I'm gonna make you look bad.
Exactly. And how do I look? And people are like, "Well, Charlotte did it all in character, and Tiffany went personal and did all this." Listen. Tiffany's she's learning. She's in the, inexperienced at a lot of this stuff. So she's just trying to move along how she thinks she can. She's following what a veteran showed her, essentially. And the veteran I'm talking about is Charlotte. So what she knows of Charlotte is like, if we're in a heated conversation, it might go off script. And next time it does go off script, I better have some ammunition for her. And people are like, well, she went too deep. There is no too deep. She's like, the ammo that I know is going to cut this person deep is this stuff. And that's exactly what she brought here.
Yeah. So the timing, of course, is Charlotte was on Sherry, and she did the interview, and she talked about the divorce, and she talked about how she did want it to get out immediately because she was embarrassed. And so when it came out after she won the Royal Rumble, she was preparing herself like, okay, it's out there. I got to deal with this. And, she was crying. And this was, again, something that Tiffy brought up in the segment of saying, like, you tell everybody you don't care. You're not bothered by anything. But meanwhile, you're crying on this boohoo talk show. And I was like, whew.
I'm sorry, Charlotte. That's fucking funny, you guys. Dog. Like, Charlotte's on this show getting her shit off. This is wrestling. Tiffany had a notepad watching that show and was like, this is how I'm going to get her back. But she's not the first one to do this. She's not the 100th one to do this. She's not the 1,000. A million wrestlers have done this. This is how wrestling works. If they know something about you, and it wasn't even a personal matter because she talked about it on a syndicated television show that a bunch of people saw. So as soon as it's out loud, then to a lot of wrestlers, it's open season.
Yeah, and we've seen that multiple times. Yeah, that's kind of why I was saying I didn't understand people doing the, well, I feel bad for Charlotte. She's the victim in this. I don't think that I don't think Tiffany cared about that part once it looked like you tried to go off script and bury me. Oh, I'm about to come out guns blazing because I gotta come back from this because, like you said, man, 2 weeks ago people were like, Tiff looks terrible, and I was even thinking at the time, okay, this shows her inexperience because once Charlotte went off script and ad libbed, it didn't feel like she knew how to respond to it. This time it felt like either somebody prepared her and coached her like, yo, when you get in there with Charlotte, you got to know what to expect. You got to do this. And she came out there like, nah, I'm not, this is not going the same way. And on top of that, she had the crowd on her side. So it was 12v1. That didn't help Charlotte either.
Remember, she flipped the line on her too. She flipped the power back. She was like, "Now that's power." After the crowd was on her side, so I was like, "Oh, she somebody help, dog."
This was a battle rap masterclass, bro. That's why, like I said, when she walked out of there, I was like, "Nah, I feel it. I see it, man."
She's in her Tay-Rock bag right now. She's going off.
I'm telling you, that was one of the funniest things about this whole thing was her going out beating her chest. That I was dying. But even funnier than that was Charlotte. When Tiff stumbled and then she started doing like this Juicy J voice for some reason where she was like, I can't hear you. What's that? What's that, Tiffany?
Shut the fuck up.
I was like, what is she trying to do here?
She thought that's how she was going to get her get back. This is how I'll turn the crowd no, Charlotte. Or she was like, I'm going to go to this heel part, but it just did not work. It was unfortunate. So there was a bunch of people that were upset about this, Phil. People were upset for Charlotte. People were making their own things, all this stuff. At the very least, there's a lot more interest on the match. So, like, what is that how wrestling works?
This was very awkward. This was a train wreck of a segment, but it was talked about all weekend, whether you like it or not. I think that this feud needed this because this has not been going well. I do think there's something to say about maybe someone should have talked to both of them before this segment because it clearly seemed like there was some tension after the last segment that was not dealt with. So I hope that those conversations happen now. I would bet that they have not, but I would lean into it at this point because I think it helps the feud overall.
As often as WWE touts out Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels to face off and be on a DVD and to talk about their days, as often as people celebrate that, this is nothing. Like, I saw Shawn Michaels say sunny days to Bret Hart on the show, and nobody knows what anybody's talking about, but it's the most personal thing in the world to Bret the Hitman Hart, and the shit got deep after that. That's just sometimes how wrestling has to go. Sometimes it's like, these are real people. Charlotte probably really in her real life feels threatened by Tiffany Stratton. She's the new person. She's blonde. She's this. Everybody loves her. She's become a champion. She's in her real life like, I got to get this person out of here when I get back. And Tiffany's thinking, oh my God, the same thing's going to happen to me that's been happening to people for the last 10 years. Charlotte's going to come in and take my fucking spot, and I can't let that happen.
I got to protect my spot. I'm just coming to the main roster. This is like my first major push on the main roster, first big WrestleMania match.
And we've seen Charlotte specifically at WrestleMania. She comes to take streaks. She comes to beat people there.
Yeah, so I feel it. I get it. I think that there was already tension, and that segment did not help last week. And this one, oof. And then all of this, to make it worse, boy, all of this is happening and people are joking on you and like your personal life and stuff the next day, and it's your birthday.
Crazy. Oh,
yikes.
I could not believe when the birthday celebration started coming out. I was like, wait, and it's her birthday? I was blown away. And then Andrade sending off his not the time, I think, brother. If any, not the time. This is not the time. I think if any, you know.
He can't tell his ex happy birthday.
Again, not the time. Maybe send a text, not a tweet, dog.
All of the circumstances.
He had to be grinning when he said that. What a dick move, dude, but hilarious. As somebody who used to be in that fuckboy bag, look, I do that shit. Old me would do that. New me, not into it. I respect my partners,
So that happened, and then we got the Kaiser tweet of Kaiser doing that clip of "Don't flatter yourself." Yeah, like I said, on her birthday, all of this happening.
On
like,
her
yikes.
birthday, man. I hope she was not on the internet.
I hope she was around loved ones.
Yeah, exactly. Kicking it, having a good time.
Kicking it, having some mimosas, something. I don't know.
Time on the internet. Jeez Louise.
Yikes. Yeah, not the best birthday present for Charlotte Flair.
Do you think, so people were like, do you think there should be heat on Tiffany Stratton for what she did?
I don't know. I think that's one of those interpersonal things at this point now.
Right.
That's probably a conversation that needs to be had. But again, if I don't know you're going to do that, that is usually one of those sticklers with wrestlers. I mean, we saw how the Punk stuff went with Punk. Like, don't go out there and say something I don't know you're going to say that, because now I'm mad. And I definitely get the feeling that Charlotte did not know she was going to bring up the stuff about her relationship.
I wouldn't think so.
Because she definitely did not look happy. So I don't think that was planned.
Interest, like I said, is higher in this match. People are excited to see what happened. People think, like Tony Peace saying, there could be some shots. There are people saying that there has to be a fight. There has to be all this. They could have went to the back and pieced it up. Nobody knows anything. But as far as this wrestling match goes, there's now people looking forward to WrestleMania. And I think that mission was accomplished.
Yeah, this could go a lot of ways. Charlotte, man. What an entertaining wrestler. Sometimes very unintentionally entertaining. When I said that part about her doing I guess she was mocking Tiffany's voice, and I was like, no, this was the funniest part. And I saw people in my mentions on Twitter like, yeah, but she looked really bad. I was like, no, I thought this was really funny. Like, I don't think it was nearly as funny as she intended it to be.
No,
I thought that was very, very funny.
I don't think she was trying to be funny, but it was the funniest part of the whole thing.
She was trying to do something, and God, was it funny. I also thought about her and the whole segment with Becky, and they're throwing the belts at each other. The Nia thing where
don't
hit her with that muffin.
Every time I think of don't, I laugh so hard. Don't. No, I wasn't playing. She's about to fuck her up.
Hit her with that 2-piece afterwards too. I was like, oh my God, bro. Charlotte Flair, man, for better or worse, has given us some entertaining wrestling moments, man.
She's good at it. She's good at her job. She's good at selling. This time it just had to get personal about her. But it comes a time for all pro wrestlers, and you put your life out there. She'll be fine. She'll recover. She'll come back. She's a Flair. She'll win the championship probably anyway. So what are we all talking about?
I do think she's winning at WrestleMania, and this makes me think even more that she's winning at WrestleMania.
Right.
And I still think that this is leading to a feud with Becky down the line. If we're doing Evolution, I think for certain that's where they had their best match, the last woman standing match. Makes all the sense in the world 7 years later to go back to that feud ahead of Evolution.
She better be in a different mind state if she go against Becky, because contrary to what people are saying, Becky will fry her in kayfabe. So
and on the internet.
And on the internet.
On the mic and on the internet.
You better be ready. If you're gonna be reacting like this to Tiffany, Becky's about to fry you like some bacon, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, wrestling is back though. That's how I felt. Like at the end of it, I was like,
wrestling is back.
As a wrestling fan, as somebody who likes to see shit like that, messy shit sometimes, we are back, baby.
A lot of very messy stuff this week.
On TV for the world to see. Let's get into some more super chats. Man, Twinblade said, much love to all the people dealing with the tornado and flood recovery this week. Those storms were nasty.
Yes, I saw some of that. Much love to those people. Also, I did not say at the top of the show because I just forgot. But rest in peace to Nikki Bushie. Yeah. Terrible news to see that yesterday. Nikki I've seen her out about at shows, of course, online a lot. Very passionate fan. Went hard for the wrestlers that she supported. Real, man. Like you can't find too many people that are real in this industry, in this space, that are going to tell you what they think unfiltered all the time. And Nikki would do that, and just sad to see that. I didn't even know she was sick.
Me neither.
So, yeah. Rest in peace to her. Condolences to her loved ones. It's been great to see all of the outpouring of like friends and wrestlers and everybody else that knew her. But just very, very unfortunate, especially going into WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania is 10 days away. And I think one of the last times I saw her was in Philly for WrestleMania, or LA. It might have been LA.
It was LA. LA was the first time that, first of all, condolences out to the family of Nikki. Rest in peace to her. Sending love out to her and her family and friends. The first time that I met her was in LA. I didn't know much about her, but everybody was like, Nikki, like everybody was just glowing when they saw her. And then she came up to me and was like, what you and Phil do was so important. Just like the spiel that a lot of people get, but just so genuine and so personal and so nice. And after that, I started following and saw the passion that she brought to this space. And it's kind of fitting that we're talking about her after this segment, because she would love stuff like this. So like
big Charlotte fan.
Yeah, big Charlotte fan, big women's wrestling fan, advocate like no other. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that this happened, and I'm so sad to see all of her friends and people hurting, and sending love out to all you guys. And rest in peace to Nikki. Just a genuine bright light in our space. Gonna be missed.
Yeah. Also went hard for TNA Wrestling.
Yes, very hard.
Very much supported them. Out of a lot of media people we would see, I would see her getting a lot of the TNA interviews. And like I said, the support, like I saw Trey Miguel talking about how much she supported him, and like how much she supported like even just like his relationship and stuff. And like that stuff is cool, because we hear so many things about like media people being negative, or like making a point to, you know, try to trash some wrestler or trash somebody personally. And then to see these people that had such a great connection with her and had so many great stories about her, that was cool to see.
Yeah, it's we need to see more bright things showcased and not so much negativity, and that's what all Nikki was about. So again, rest in peace, condolences to everybody. Just so unfortunate. Yeah, more super chats. Our Do It says, happy Grapsody, y'all. Kenny boss entrance is so good, and that match was fire. Ball chant, speedball screaming Kenny, that moonsault from Bailey.
Yeah, great match. It was probably one of my favorite matches from last night.
Definitely. We're going to get into that very soon here. Appreciate you, our Do It. Tenruza says, Reg, TLC told you don't go chasing them things. I went chasing waterfalls, man, and it felt great. The waterfall splashed on top of my head. Like, you know, black people historically don't be swimming. So, like, to see me swimming, I was like, shout out to me, you know?
Shout out to me.
It's a thing. I don't know where it started. We don't have pools. They don't let us in a lot, but, you know.
No, I definitely can't swim. So
see, I'm saying, like, a lot of people that I know personally cannot swim. It's unfortunate. Our Do It also says LMFAO, Swerve with the F Booker to end it.
Yeah, I saw that clip. It's going around, making its rounds. I
100% truthfully don't know what this is.
Wait, you don't know what it is?
No.
Okay, great. For context, this is the continuation of the Booker saga with Swerve since the Vlad interview.
Yes.
If you have not seen by now, the Vlad interview has created waves throughout the space, mostly among black wrestling fans, black wrestlers. People feel a way about this. When we talked about it last week, I said before, not a fan of Vlad, not a fan of that outlet. I get the reasoning of why you want to go up there and do the interview. Big platform, big audience. I get it. Just not a fan of that guy.
Sucks.
So, yeah, he did the interview. And in the midst of the interview, he asked him about Booker T's response to his grievances with WWE. And so Swerve, of course, I'm paraphrasing, gave his thoughts on like, well, this isn't fair and this isn't fair. And I'm not the only one saying that. You know, your fans are saying that where are the black wrestlers on your PLEs, for example, or this person is saying that. We also got the Steven and Larson clip this week where they were talking about it. So, and, you know, we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast. So I came away from that thinking like, well, Swerve is right. And then he also said at the end, very pointed, well, was it fair when Vince dropped the N-word in front of you? And so that, you know, of course, was going to garner a response. I thought, but again, I thought the Swerve overall was right. I agree with him.
Yeah.
They got us the Booker response on his podcast where Booker started by saying, you know, this is what Vlad does. He pits us against each other. I had the opportunity to go on Vlad before, and, you know, I didn't go on Vlad because I turned him down. Then he offered me some money, and I turned him down again. Okay. Then he gets into the stuff between him and Swerve, and he says that he talked to him at a convention they did, and he told him how disappointed he was with everything. And he said, and how he targeted him in general for some reason. There were quite a few things in this because I actually sat and listened to that entire section of his podcast that I did not like. We've done this before because you and I both feel the same way about Booker. Legend. Respect
Love
him. Respect his contributions to the space to the utmost.
Go.
But when you start kicking this go along to get along shit, I'm out. I don't want to hear that.
That's it. Me neither.
When you do the whole, I did that segment with Vince, but what do you want me to do? You want me to be mad? You want me to not open doors for you? I open doors for you, which is true. Booker did open doors for Swerve and a lot of black wrestlers that came after him. But
Correct.
I don't want to hear that as a hand wave for you doing that segment with Vince. I don't think that came off well. And I
pretty much saying I did that to open doors for you. I did this for you. I let Vince call me that for that. No, that's not really how this works. You didn't open doors with that terrible thing, you know?
I don't want to hear that. And saying, you know, there's a time and a place. There's a time to stand up, and that wasn't the time. And I'm just like,
I think that was probably the time and the place to stand up. The most egregious thing that Booker T said to me was essentially, you guys need to get on my level. Like, maybe there's not, maybe the talent is not here. And I was like, wait a second. As somebody who, again, I will bring it up, who makes a list of 500 black wrestlers that are all amazing. And there's now 1,000 probably black wrestlers that are incredible. They're some of the best wrestlers you've ever seen. For Booker T to come out here and essentially be like, you guys need to get better again. It's just not really the vibe, because this has been the vibe for a long time. And I'm like, Booker keeps saying this stuff, but like, if he looks around these legends rooms that he's in, the spaces that he occupies, when you're the only one that looks like you in there, how many doors are you really opening? Because, like, who have you let in? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like you want to be the only one up there from the language and verbiage that you've continued to give up. And that's just wild to me. Like, it's never like, it's rare where I see Booker T prop one up. But a diss, like if you like Booker T disses a wrestler, it's usually probably going to be a black wrestler. It's just seeming like a pattern to me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, like Reg is saying, at one point when he got into the criticisms of black wrestlers not being on the PLEs, he goes, well, is there a problem with black wrestlers being on PLEs because maybe they're not good enough and, you know, they need to work up to my level to get there? And I'm just like, I don't think anybody needs to hear that from you. And of course I'm paraphrasing. He might not have said it exactly that way, but that was basically the inclination I got from it. That's basically what he was saying. And I wasn't a fan of none of that, but to get out of this, that then turned into Vlad putting out the screenshot from his DMs with Booker, and it was, you know, him inviting him to do the show right after he interviewed Mark Henry, and Booker was excited. He wanted to do it, and so Vlad was making a point. No, he's lying to you guys. He's saying he didn't want to do the podcast. He did want to do it. And he would have done it if I didn't show up late that day. He was in the studio to do it, but I showed up late, and so I just missed him, and we never rescheduled it. That's the only reason it didn't happen. He's telling you guys he never was interested, but that's not true. Mm-hmm. So Booker then put out because, of course, Vlad is not going to give us the entire conversation. He gave us 2 screenshots, but he didn't show us the entire conversation. So when he did that, I was like, okay, Vlad's not telling us the entire truth. But I also don't think Booker's telling us the entire truth either. I think both of these guys are giving their side of the story that makes themselves look good.
Right.
And so that's exactly what Booker did. He put out his screenshots where he said, when he came back and said, hey, sorry I was late, but let's try to reschedule this. And it was him continuing to try to get Booker to do it, and he kept ignoring him until he said, no thanks. And then, boy, did not look good for Vlad at the end, where he's like, well, I'll pay you. I was like, did not look great. But again, I was laughing after he put it up because he said, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I was like, yeah, this part supports your part of the story where you said I turned him down, but that was after you wanted to do it. And that's Vlad's point, that you're telling everybody, no, I didn't ever want to do it because I see what you do to black men.
Yes.
You get black men incriminated.
Yes.
But that's clearly not true, because if you look at the first half of that conversation, he did want to do it.
Yeah, he's trying to act like he was standing on business. Like, oh no, like soon as Vlad started out, blah blah blah. It only seems like he's standing on the "you were late, you're wasting my time" business. Like it didn't feel like it was connected to what he knew about Vlad.
And look, I don't know the whole story here. He could have changed his mind after they didn't do that interview, and he talked to somebody else, and he heard more about Vlad. He wouldn't
though, because like he also told us that he don't do research on people that he works with. But that's another story for another day.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe he talked to somebody else and they told him like, nah, don't do that or something. I don't know. That could have happened. But like I said, he's clearly not telling the whole story here. But as you're alluding to, that came out the same night as he also responded to the Chase and Rants thing. And boy, his response to that was not it either. I don't do research. You don't do research. Well, you need to start fucking doing research then, dude. I didn't know.
And you don't even need to do research. All you have to do is say Chase and Rants out loud, and somebody from the heavens will scream what he is.
I have literally never seen a Chase and Rants wrestling match. I've never seen this man wrestle. The only thing I know about him is that he's a sex offender.
That's all I know about him.
I don't know. And he has a school in Florida. That's it. So
every time I see somebody talk about him, they're like, this guy's a sex offender and this is the terrible things that he's done. That's all I ever see about him.
Yeah. So his response to that, I wasn't a big fan of that either. Him doing the whole, well, I didn't know, and you guys are trying to associate me with this guy like I did something too. And it feels like a smear campaign. I was like, you could just be like, nah, my bad. It's cool.
I didn't know. I fucked up. Sorry.
I didn't know it, but then, when people started putting out the receipts, like he was in the poster, and like the Reality of Wrestling account had canceled some stuff that was linked with their dojo, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you didn't know, whoever runs that account knows. So some things here are not adding up. I was like, I don't like how this looks, and everything about it was very messy. So out of all of this, of course, Swerve being smack dab in the middle because he did the Vlad interview in the first place, people are looking at it like, okay, well, you brought Vlad into this because you went on Vlad's outlet, and you're allowing Vlad to do this, try to smear one of our legends. And I'm just like, yeah, but this started before the Vlad interview. Yeah, you could say that Vlad threw some fuel on the fire, but this started because Swerve said things about his experience in WWE, and Booker responded to it, which is a pattern, like you're saying, of Booker responding to other people's grievances with that company, particularly black people. That has happened more than once, where someone has been like, this is my experience over there. I don't like this. I don't like that. And then he'll respond as almost like a spokesperson for the company, and that will upset people. So this isn't a first time. Like, yeah, it's now public because you're doing the Vlad stuff and intermingling messiness in it. But then we get to last night, end of AEW Dynamite. It's like not Dynamite, Dynasty. There's phone footage of Swerve in the ring addressing the crowd, saying thanks for coming out, saying how much representation is important to him. And then at the end, he was like, just to humor myself, fuck Booker T.
Rut roll.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not the best choice.
No.
The best choice, but
That's it.
at this point, I've seen with the rest of this stuff that he's just like, oh, y'all want to be mad? I'm gonna give y'all something to be mad about.
That's pretty classic Swerve.
Which, by the way, I'll say this as well. I did get a chance to listen to more of the Vlad interview because he's released more of the clips from behind the paywall. I did watch the episode where he's talking about Hit Row being released. Where was the disc? I didn't see no disc.
I don't know. I
Top
watched
dollar.
it and I was like, wait, this was what happened? I'm still.
Yeah, top dollar going and doing Adrian Hernandez's show, which, you know, shout out to Adrian.
Shout out to Adrian. That's not me.
But
Vegas.
he went on and he talked about, why is he on Vlad talking about me? Why is he sneak dissing me? I didn't get from that a sneak diss.
It didn't feel like a sneak diss.
It felt like he was just telling the story of how they went to the main roster and everything around their release, which had been reported.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of it was reported. That's why I'm like, and we talked about it out of the podcast. The definition of sneak diss, I think, has changed because I don't really understand. I don't know what I'm like. I don't. This is. I don't think this is how sneak dissing works. But
there's bits of this that I cannot get into on this podcast. But one of my issues with this is that you're taking wrestling stuff, you're taking politics backstage, you're taking interpersonal beefs and stuff in wrestling, and you're trying to add black stuff and street culture to that, and those two things don't go together. And I'm saying this as not a street guy, but
yes.
Also, I know a lot of dudes that are street guys. I know, yes. I've said on this podcast, I think it's hilarious. A lot of dudes that are squares, their dad was a street guy. My dad was a fascinating individual. So he's told me a lot of things. He's instilled a lot of things in me that I hold dear. And it's just certain things that you don't do. And so when I see people say certain things, I'm just like, oh, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can use that word here or do that here. I don't think those things apply here. And when I saw people doing it, he sneaked this, and I'm like, I've seen a lot of y'all subbing and getting on podcasts and saying things and doing things. I've seen a lot of weirdo shit, and it's like, I don't know, y'all picking and choosing when sneak dissing bothers y'all. And it's a lot of picking and choosing and a lot of this that I'm not a fan of. But again, I won't get into on this podcast because it's certain stuff that I don't think you should be doing. And there's certain words that I don't think you should be using and playing with. It's certain energy I don't think you should be using and playing with. Like stuff like, oh, well, if he pulled up to him and it was that, why didn't I? I don't want this to turn into no blows between Book and Swerve. I hope at this point that maybe a conversation is had between those two guys. But when you use certain energy, I don't want to get into that. And I don't think we should be encouraging that.
Because Booker's energy on that podcast, he was aggressive for he was like, he was pretty into it for a lot of it.
But this is where you introduce the Vlad thing and it gets touchy too, because we turn it into, okay, well, Vlad is the feds, and Vlad is getting guys locked up over there. And at one point, Booker was like, well, I don't know if you know about being locked up. I'm like,
oh, okay, all right.
Let's not do that. It was just stuff being said that I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't think we should be doing that. And I think that's what makes it look crazier when you make it seem like I'm just so dead set against Vlad, and then these DMs come out and it shows, well, were you? But then you also go, well, look, I did turn him down. Yeah, you did after the fact, but that's not what you said on that podcast. You said, you made it seem like I never wanted anything to do with him. And if that's what your stance is, I get it. Because again, fuck Vlad. I don't like the guy. Yeah. But, and I mean, he did a whole thing this week. He did an interview with academics. I'm like, oh, see, all the nasty dudes are together. Yeah. But that's why I'm like, bro, I just think some of this is stuff where, like I said last time we talked about this, people are telling you bits of the story that they want you to hear. They're telling you what you want to hear. They're not going to give you the whole story. And I don't there are things that I know, there are things that I heard beforehand that I am not at liberty to share here that I think add context to things that are not what you think.
It's way deeper than this. But I'm just saying, because people are like, well, why would Swerve, blah, blah, blah. It's not like Phil is saying here. This isn't the first time. This isn't a new thing. If I'm Swerve and I'm a black wrestler doing my thing, just had this great AEW run and all this, and Booker is still like, well, none of these guys are on my level. You're dissing me. Yes. No matter what, you're talking about me. You started this.
Yeah. There's a bit of it where people were talking about, he basically insinuated, like, who are you to even be on Vlad? And I'm like,
see.
That's why I'm like, I don't know, dog. Like, if people acting like, oh, he's just completely innocent in this, I don't think that that's the case.
And again, like, if we're talking about like veterans and imparting wisdom and doing all this, Booker gives off the impression that he would have, let's do this on the side. Let's take this over here. Let's handle this. Let me talk to you. Let me do this as the veteran. He went right to his podcast like Stephen A. Smith to talk about this shit out loud with the white guy next to him. I'm just saying, like, you just like, if we're talking about lines, where is the line? Because you keep crossing over it and then crossing back over it.
I don't want to get into that part of it because, like
I'm just saying, like, where's the line? Like, is there a line?
Where's the line?
He's like, there's the line, but then he's like, also, I'm the line. Like, you can't.
Well, specifically the part of it that I don't want to get totally into because I didn't like it. It's like I said, the part where he was talking about the Vince stuff. And, you know, no knock to Brad. That's his co-host, Brad Gilmore. No knock to Brad, but you sitting there saying that stuff like, oh, you know, it wasn't a racial thing. And Brad is sitting there, and I'm like, oh no, man, this looks crazy, bro.
There can't be nobody to rebut. That's all I'm saying.
That's why I'm like, that's what I was getting at. And again, that's not a knock to Brad, but you're saying that with Brad sitting there, and he's not going to be like, well, wait a minute. He's not going to interject and say,
"This is exactly like what we were talking about last week with the Gulf of Mexico shit." It's like if Booker T is continuously like, "It's fine. The Triple H shit was fine. The Vince McMahon shit was fine." Everybody's going to think it's fine, and it wasn't fine.
Yes. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of his response on this podcast or his response on the Chase and Rants thing. I think some of this is going a bit too far. I don't like kind of any of it. Because, again, Booker is one of our OGs, and I do think that he deserves his credit, and I do think he deserves his respect. But I do think that there's part of this where I can see newer guys feeling a way about the way he's talking. And I can understand why Swerve would feel a way about not just the way he was talking in this instance, but you coming and responding to my grievances, because my grievances are my grievances. This was my experience with the company. That might not have matched your experience, but that doesn't make it less true.
Right, exactly. That's the part that's kind of unfortunate for you. Like, if Booker, you had a great experience, we're happy for you, but you can't use that to take away from everybody else's experience.
And this is what made me kind of feel a way about the Steven Larson thing. Listen, salute to those guys for saying that because they're right. But how many times have me and you got on this podcast and said this? How many times have you seen other black people in this space say that? How many times have you seen a black wrestler say that? So, you know, to the joke that you made, and people didn't even fucking get the joke when you were like, right message, wrong message, or people thought you were trying to diss them. No, that's what was said to Swerve when he said it. Bro, we're at a place where people black worker
never understand bits, Phil. This is not a bit.
Yeah, people don't get telling a black worker that he can't say this, but these two white guys on the podcast can.
Bullseye.
That don't look crazy to y'all? That looks crazy. That's all I'm saying. It looks crazy.
It's been said. We've said it. A bunch of people have said it, and it gets blown up. Nobody cares about it. But then, like, it's over here, and it's.
And what makes it look even crazier? It's put in all of these terms of, well, that guy doesn't even go up like that for us. He's not even trying to be over here with us like that. And I'm just like. I don't want people to take this as a knock against Steven Larson, though, because again, salute to those guys for saying that. None of this is a dig at them. I just resent some of the energy around it. I resent the energy of this being praised when they said it, but not when Swerve or somebody that has experienced it said it.
Mm-hmm. They tell them to shut up.
And even if you didn't want to hear it from Swerve, other people have said that. This is not. Hey, how many black men are wrestling on this WrestleMania card in 10 days?
None.
I'm assuming the tag match will be added. I would guess that Street Profits will be there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a issue here. There's a lot of things that there are issue here with me, and this whole idea that we have to speak a certain way and we got to give our message a certain way. Like I saw people say, well, why did he go to Vlad and say it? He didn't say it the first time on Vlad, though. He said it on Vlad when he was asked about it, but he also said it before. But the thing is, it doesn't matter where it's said.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Yeah. It wouldn't have mattered where he said it. He could have said it on Breakfast Club. He could have came on our podcast and said it. It don't matter. Y'all didn't want to hear it from him.
Exactly.
That's it.
Because that's all people are saying. People didn't even care that it was the Vlad thing. They were saying it's the wrong guy saying it.
And, well, no, I saw people specifically saying, why did he go to Vlad and say it? But it wouldn't have mattered. No, it wouldn't have mattered where he said it. Y'all didn't want to hear it from him.
Your preferred platform, it would have been the same thing.
Correct. And there are certain black wrestlers, I don't care if they would have said it. You didn't want to hear it from them either.
Right.
Which is the problem. I just don't want you to criticize this company.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I wish they would say that.
I would respect it if it was just that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of this where... Let me not. I'll keep that part of it. Sorry. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I got too excited, man. I don't want to say certain things here that make it seem like I'm taking digs at people because I'm not.
It's not about
I just don't like some of the energy around it. I don't like that it feels like if anybody said all of these same things about AEW, then it would have been perfectly fine. And to Swerve's point, I'm not the only person saying this. Why y'all mad at me saying it? Why is Booker responding to me? Why are you not responding to his audience? That's also the WWE audience that's also saying it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he said in the Vlad interview. He's like, it ain't even me saying it. It's the crowd saying it. It's the people saying it.
This is what I'm saying. Like, so what's the issue?
There's a lot of issues.
Well, I know. That's why I'm like, yeah, let's super chats.
Yeah, super chats. Yeah, I didn't know. I watched Dynasty, but I didn't see the after bit, so I didn't know that happened.
Yeah,
I'm also like, yeah, of course, Swerve would say that because that's a Swerve thing, you know.
Can't say that I was shocked when I saw it. Can't say that I was shocked.
All right. More super chats. Grapple Geekery says the D Riders are giving me Jericho Appreciation Society learning tree levels of go away heat and great value bloodline energy. TK's metric talk at the scrum sounds like WWE Vincent Kennedy McMahon knows what we want better than we do. Am I wrong?
We'll get into that when we get into the end of the show. I don't think that it was a good sign when he was asked the question about pivoting. That he went into that talk of like metrics and stuff like that, and I get it, but yeah, when you've created this perception that you're the company that listens to your fans, and then you make a point in this to not listen to your fans, and then make reasoning as to why you didn't listen to them, people don't want to hear that.
Yeah, Grapple Geekery. I think that's the craziest part for me is like they see everybody in AEW's on the internet. They see everybody talking about it. They see how people feel about this. We talked for a full month how bad of a taste in our mouth that Revolution left, and like coming into the show how important the end of the show was going to be, and so for it to happen and then like to be like, well, look, check the numbers, it's like not a great sign for the kind of foundation that you laid out of we're the company that listens and we're the company that does this and we're the company that would pivot if we knew the things. Like all this stuff is not looking that great, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know, but appreciate that very generous super chat, Grapple Geekery. Tenruza said, Wild Wild West song annoyingly good for a bad film.
Is it an annoyingly good song, though?
We going straight.
Cisco was like, I'm going to get my shit off, bro.
Nah, Cisco.
This is my moment. This is my moment.
I'm about to cook in here. Turn the lights down.
No, this was him in the Battle Royal. I'm going to get my spots in, bro.
Right, I'm about to get my shit in. Like, I'm going to do a backflip in the video and everything. Don't play with me. Shout out to Cisco. It was his time. Get you a Cisco feature. Wu Young says, the main event was dog shit, but I enjoyed Dynasty as much as I like the Billy Goat. The Osprey Industrial Complex can wait. Belt up Swerve.
Yeah, I thought that was the move, but I don't think it's gonna happen, guys.
Like, yeah, I think we're gonna be moving forward from this point. So I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say things can change, but it don't look like things can change. Tenruza says, need to have a talk about stubbornness and TK.
A little stubbornness here.
I'm caught between a rock and a hard place here because I sometimes think the credit boy over the top, I'm gonna give you everything you fucking want thing is too much. Like when you're online and like, oh, I saw a tweet about this and I'm gonna execute that and I hear you, blah blah blah. Like sometimes it's too much. You should stick to what you're booking and think that your shit's gonna be great in the long run. But then I'm also like, this Death Rider shit is like beating a dead horse, so I don't know where to land, you know? It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get why you would be like, you don't always have to cave into the fans, but this felt like one of those things where it felt like the right time. It felt like the right person. I didn't get it. I just didn't get it.
Yeah, after being at the end of Revolution and seeing him stand up there and hit that big double stomp, I was like, oh, we're good. We're in. We're doing this. And so we didn't do this. Tenruz also says when trying to pack a stadium, Mox winning is a no. Tough one. Meet Normus says, what's good, Grapsody? Chaz and Tiffy may be the stiffest women's match in the Fed's history. Who y'all got taking the belt off Tony Storm?
Chaz and Tiffany. I don't know at this point, man. I don't know. Maybe Mercedes, but I'm not really firm on that.
I'm thinking after what happened last night that they maybe run that back and it's Megan Bain eventually.
Could be.
Possibly. Van Twinblade says, I mean no disrespect when I say this. If you do the face swap thing with Chaz and Tiffy, I don't think I could tell the difference.
Where did this Chaz nickname for her come from?
What is Chaz?
The Charlotte.
Why are people calling her Chaz?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Chaz.
Now I'm thinking about it. I think if it's me, I think I could see. I think Athena would be dope. But if Athena beat Tony, I would be in for that.
Me too. I hope I would want it to be Athena, but I'm like, it could potentially be Mercedes.
Yeah.
Which I, of course, would not be mad at. I appreciate you, Van Twinblade. Margie Love says, for me, it felt bad that Charlotte couldn't get the return she wanted because she is great. The creative should have set her up better ahead of her return.
Yes. I think if she was going to do the part where she told people everything she went through and gave the motivation for what she's doing, that should have been done in a filmed vignette or something.
Prior to the Rumble.
Yeah, it just wasn't gonna work saying that in front of the crowd because, like I said, the crowd didn't want to hear that. There's no crowd that she's gonna get in after winning the Rumble that wants to hear that part.
No, because she came back and did what historically people don't like about Charlotte. So there, you starting off on a bad note and then try to be like, actually, let me get sympathy after the thing you guys hate to see me do. It was a uphill battle from there.
Wasn't gonna work.
Appreciate you, Margie. Tenruza says, same as Britt Baker, a QT, Adam Cole win with the clap emoji. It's just too many things going on. Tenruza, appreciate you. Freak51 says, did y'all see the Nazi shirt they made for Punk? What?
I did not see that.
Missed that one. Who's them? Who's they? Where would you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
It's one of them Kanye shirts. Appreciate you,
bro. Bro. Every time I got on the timeline that day and that visual of him with the fucking Klansman outfit on, and the actor's just talking to him like it's normal, I'm just, what? What's happening here? Like, I don't see any world where you and I are, like, I'm setting up the camera and I'm, like, getting ready to come over there with my mic and he's standing there with the Klans outfit. Bro, I'm putting everything back in my bag and walking out. I'm not interviewing this guy in that. What the fuck are we doing?
Actually, just standing there asking him real genuine questions. I'm like, hold on a second. What timeline are we living in? What's happening here? Yeah, as soon as he would have came out around that corner with that suit on, I would have been out that door faster. All you would have seen is ass and elbows because I would have been getting up out of there.
You would have heard somebody would have been at the door. Like, yeah, let me get by you. Like,
let
me get out. Let me out.
Let me slide out of here real quick because what the fuck's going on here? And he was like, no, I'm going to do it. And then he did the interview and then watched himself do the interview and gave feedback. I'm like, this is a
nasty, bro.
This is the nastiest timeline I think we've ever existed in.
Disgusting. Sometimes you don't have to do that. It's cool. But that's been that was also a big theme of this week with the Vlad and the rest of this stuff. Yeah, you don't have to do that. It's cool. We cannot. It's cool.
Don't pit black men against each other. Yeah, exactly. All of us. I think we can all do this. Busby.
There's irony to that. There's irony to that. But
Busby, the respected man, says, haven't seen this many fans pissed about a result since Goldberg beat The Fiend. Hope you enjoyed your vacation, Reg. Appreciate you, Busby. I definitely did. I wish I was still there.
I was very confused at first why you called him that, and I had to look to see that that's what it said. And I was like, what?
He's the respected man. Phil, you didn't know? That's his new bit. I appreciate you, Busby. I did have a great time, but I'm happy to be home. I mean, the best thing about going on vacation is like, usually you're like, damn, that's dreading going back home, going back to this place. But I live in California, so I was like, I can't wait to get back to California, weather. So shout out to me again. Tenruz also says Booker being in the Fed saying these things whack.
I don't want to go too hard on Book, man. I feel like I've said enough.
Legend.
I hope the cooler heads prevail, man. That's where I'm at with it.
I just want him to be who people think he is. That probably sounds crazy, but I want him to be like I just want I want him to be the black legend that like helps the black people under him, the black wrestlers coming up, actually succeed in this. That's it. That's all, And just beyond, like, I have a wrestling school that a bunch of them go to. No, it has to be more than that, dude. Talk about them like you talk about Roxanne. If you strapped a rocket to somebody like you strapped a fucking Roxanne, we'd be living in a different timeline. That's all I'm saying. Eloquent says, I guess I'm the only one happy the Young Bucks are back. LOL, the reaction has WrestleMania 39 energy to it. Relax, y'all. I'm very happy the Young Bucks are back, Eloquent.
Yeah, very happy that the Bucks are back, just not the way that.
Wrong place to be back, though, I think.
It does have WrestleMania 39 vibes for sure, though.
Like, I was genuinely shocked when I saw it, but I was like, this probably wasn't. Like, there's a bunch of places I would have put them in this show specifically, but I don't know if I would have put them there.
Yeah, just had a pay-per-view in California. Not that one. Here? Okay, cool.
The one I was waiting the whole time for these guys. Just like, hey, we're wondering where these guys are. We're in California. No, nothing.
No.
But we're going to get into it. Appreciate you, Eloquent. And then Vasco says Swerve Mox 2 at Double or Nothing, then Hangman Swerve at All In. That's some wealthy thinking. Probably not.
I wouldn't think so.
Mm-mm.
For a few reasons.
A number of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of our super chats for now.
We got a handful of Humper chats. I'm going to try to speed run through them so we can get into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Got one from Van Twinblade. He says, we're grappling on a Monday. Dynasty was pretty damn good. Ospreay and Knight ruled. Only got 2 calls wrong. Danny G / Cole and Mox Swerve. I am annoyed. Mox won again. Yes, it is worse than Bloodline. No, he says, I am annoyed. Mox won. Yes, is it worse than Bloodline? Hell fucking no. Anyone saying it is a drama queen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think worse than. I don't think they've crossed into that territory yet, but we're getting there.
No. Got 2 from Tony P. He says, last night was good wrestling with weird agenting booking and card order. Some matches were placed in the wrong spot. Yes, we're getting Mox / Will, but they could have had the Bucks come out without the overbooking. It's interesting, but want the Death Rider story over. He also says, I am curious if you would get more tickets for Will possibly winning it All In or a Swerve Hangman title match. My petty of the week is a 3-way tie, FTR, Seth, and Tiffy. FTR beat that ass. Seth knew what was coming, and Tiffy talking her shit, then running from Charlotte. LOL.
No, nobody's beating Tiffany this week, Tony. I'm sorry. Tiffany's number one, far and away.
This is Big Tiff's week, bro.
Woo! Nobody beating Tiffany. She got the title this week for sure. And she got it over Charlotte, Big Char, or Chaz, yeah. Big Chaz. Come on.
Big Chaz. From Rafael Garcia, I'm going to be positive. Dynasty was a great show with 2 matches with endings. Just endings. It says Bowens is back and looks good. Bandito still has his mask, and Tiff didn't get socked on national TV. Did they say Nick Wayne was going to the Best of Super Juniors? If so, good luck. That was announced during Sakura Genesis. Yes. We'll be heading to Best of Super Juniors. Kevin Knight, newest AEW signee, will also be in the Best of Super Juniors. Big card so far. Big bracket so far for the Best of Super Juniors. That should be a blast. Looking forward to that.
I'm excited for the homie Nick Wayne to get that opportunity. Of course, we know about how tough of a schedule that was. We just talked about, if you guys haven't seen our Speedball Mike Bailey interview, definitely check that out. We talked about him being in the Best of Super Juniors and how intensive the schedule is. So Nick Wayne's going to get a lesson there for sure. The homie Kevin Knight's been there before. Great to see him back. The homie Mal's in there. Mal's a fucking hooper, Phil. He's gonna go crazy in this.
That man, when I saw Nick Wayne, I was like, "Oh, Nick's in it." But then when I saw Mal, I was like, "Yo, wow, that's
Dragon Bane too." There's some guys in this one. This is gonna be a dope field this year.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. Which before I said I was gonna speed run through this, but I guess I then should speed run through a little bit of Sakura Genesis before we move forward and talk about Dynamite, just to get it out the way. Sakura Genesis took place at Ryogoku Sumo Hall. Of course, the big talking point coming into this was Hiroki Goto defending his title against David Finlay. Started out the show with, I thought, a very good match between Yuya Uemura and Sonata. They're continuing their feud from before Yuya was injured. Then, of course, they had their match in the New Japan Cup. This is the rematch to this. I think this was kind of better than their New Japan Cup match because Sonata was coming in talking all this shit of, oh, you got lucky. It was a fluke. And we got all the athletic stuff, them going back and forth, some great counters, some great exchanges in it. But you just tapped this guy out. You can't say he got lucky no more, Sonata. He forced you to tap. It's over. Sonata is coming out and doing his wacky outfits now, which reminds me of one of my favorite wrestlers. He even wore those big red Astro Boy boots at the end of the show, just like Seth Rollins, and I chuckled at the whole thing. I was like, it's translating over there.
It's kind of like what's been needed with the Sonata character, I think, Phil, right, for a while, because it's like he has the in ring, he has the look and all that, but he needs like something extra that kind of separates him from like the rest of the Young Lion guys and the rest of the kind of guys that sit in that space.
Yes. Before I get into the rest of the card, the Sakura Genesis stuff from the night before, we got an absolutely crazy death match between Desperado and Clark Connors. Absolutely disgusting stuff. Clark Connors looked great in this. He went in there to make a point, and he made his point. Desperado came out with the title, but he did earn Desperado's respect, and I thought that this made Clark Connors look like $1 million. Came out there with his whole crew, including Tekla. Really cool to see.
They said this was the longest IWGP Junior Heavyweight match of all time.
Really? I did not know that.
And people are like, why was a match that long? It's like they were trying to tell a story, and it sounds like they told a story.
Yeah. Before that match on that night, we got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championships on the line as well. Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori took on Kosei. Why was I trying to destroy this guy's name? Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles. Very fun match. But we also got on this card right after the opening match, got Great Khan taking on El Phantasmo. Very shocked by this ending because I've been enjoying LP coming out with his big fur coat on with the lights under it. Great Khan is your New Japan World Television Champion after winning via countout. Can't say that I was a big fan of the finish of this match. The match itself was fine.
That sounds interesting.
I assume this was set up to get back to this matchup later. I don't think they're done with this. So, it is what it is for now. I don't have like the best thing to say about the match because it feels like we're not done with this yet. We're going to get back to it at some point.
Right.
But great night for United Empire, turns out. Shota Umino took on the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And, man, Tana's still that guy, man. Tana still brings that energy to the matches. I felt like this match was mostly good because of Tanahashi. He just brought – it just looks like every time you put him in these kind of situations, he shows he can still go. He shows he can still do great psychology in a match. And that was really why this match shined, because of him doing the work and the storytelling throughout this match to get you to care. But the story behind it was that Tanahashi is trying to reach Umino and trying to show him the light because after losing the New Japan Cup, Finlay was like, look, my way works. Trust me. And the whole time, Shota's nodding. And so Tana was trying to show him, no. You could still be a part of Hantai. This can still work. Fortunately, Tanahashi did take the loss here. That combo that Shota does now where he hits the Busaiko knee and does the second chapter, it works for him. I think it's a great way to finish matches. He used that to pick up the win here. And afterwards, he officially said, I'm out of Hantai. I'm done. I have to do things my own way.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. I cannot figure out if that means he's going to turn heel. I kind of think that's where we're going. I have the assumption he could join Bullet Club. But he made a point of saying that, House of Torture is not the way either. So let's at least be happy about that, him not joining House of Torture.
Okay, that's one positive thing. But it seems like they're going to keep trying things till one of the things stick. But is it getting closer, you feel?
Yes, which we'll get back to that at the end of this card. House of Torture took on the Bullet Club War Dogs in a 6-man tag team championship match. House of Torture picked up the win via shenanigans, as you would expect. This was a very House of Torture match. In the end, goddamn Sonata changed his allegiances. He was a war dog. He came out there with his big coverall suit on and those crazy red boots and the sunglasses, and he bashed Drilla Maloney over the head with the guitar to help House of Torture win. And then he revealed that he had a House of Torture shirt on. He flip sides again. This turncoat Sonata.
Big flipper.
Yeah. But I can't say enough about how Sonata needed this heel turn and how much this has helped him, because he was getting really, really boring.
Yeah, he might get back into contention doing all these things at least.
Yes. Probably match of the night for me. To nobody's surprise. Konosuke Takeshita versus Oiwa. Bro, these two guys. I mean, we said it before. Takeshita is special, man. But you could see the upside on Oiwa every time he's out there. And you can see just the influences of being a part of TMDK, working with Zach. He's doing more of the limb work. He's using more holds. And, man, he looked great here. But this guy Takeshita, man. This guy, he's going to be a world champion soon. It's just inevitable.
I think there's a bunch of championships that he's primed to get into, but I think this New Japan stuff is like taking him to an either higher level. You know what I mean? Like being in these big time, high pressure New Japan matches just makes him into something different.
Yes. But yeah, really good match for me. Match of the night. If you don't see any match from this show,
see that
Konosuke Takeshita versus Oyo. Very, very good match. I mean, I thought the opening match was good as well, but then we got United Empire taking on LIJ for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. The story here is Callum Newman has not been able to get past Tetsuya Naito. This was really Callum Newman's show.
There's another story to this too, right? Like Jeff Cobb.
That's correct, because Jeff Cobb coming into this show, there were the reports that his contract was up with New Japan, and he was heading to Stanford. He's heading to WWE, and so he tweeted before the show, like, "Hey, I've heard a lot of rumors about where I'm going after this. We'll talk about it later." Callum Newman picked up the win here. He pinned Tetsuya Naito. Really fun match. A lot of really good exchanges between Callum and Naito. Also, Hiromu being Hiromu, jumping all over the ring and moving at a frenzied pace like he always does. But, yeah, this was really Callum Newman's win. Big win for him. And afterwards, as you said, Jeff Cobb got his belt, and then he went to commentary and was like, "What happened? I thought I was leaving." What happened? I'm still here.
What happened is so funny. Now, shout out to Jeff Cobb, though, because he's having a great time with this. I'm confused as to what's going on, but we have seen things like this before happen, and the guys still go to Stanford. So, nobody knows anything.
Afterwards, backstage, Cobb basically was like, "Yeah, I also want a shot at the world title as well. So I'm here for now. So let me get all of my shit in. Like, what do you mean?"
I like it.
Yeah, but really, really big win for Callum Newman. Happy for him. Like I said, big night for the United Empire guys. Two of those guys picked up big wins here.
Yep.
Got some gold around their waists over there. Then we got Yota Tsuji versus Evil for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Another very House of Torture shenanigans match. A lot of shenanigans, low blows. The hope spots that Tsuji got worked. The crowd bit on him. I enjoyed it for what it was. Wasn't my favorite of the show, but Tsuji did pick up the win. He is still your IWGP Global Champion. Afterwards, Yuya Uemura came out, challenged him. That's going to be his next opponent, I would assume. Very excited for that one. I think that's going to be a great match. Hopefully we're done with this Evil Tsuji stuff for now.
Evil, I kind of figured that's how this one was going to go.
Yeah, I mean, Evil is very good at the heel stuff. He's a good wrestler. It's just when you see the interference stuff over and over, which we'll get into later, kind of get tired of seeing it. Yeah. But main event, Hiroki Goto came into this with a lot to prove. David Finlay been popping shit at him since he won the New Japan Cup. I beat you in the G1. I'm going to beat you again. I'm going to beat you in front of your kids and take this championship. Still have the story of Finlay holding on to the fact that his father was never world champion, and what that meant to him, how that set him back. It just showed him to prepare, for disappointment in life, and he's going to teach Goto's kids that same lesson to prepare for disappointment when he beats his dad again and takes the world championship from him. Really good match. I've said before, I was completely wrong about David Finlay. This guy has turned out to be an incredible wrestler, great heel work. He worked very well here with Goto. Goto still continues to be extremely popular with the Japanese crowd. They love this guy. And so when he won, hit 2 GTRs on Finlay to win, and he's out there with the belt with his daughter on his shoulder, I'm like, nah. They might be able to keep this going into Wrestle Kingdom, man. This guy is very well liked. He will be here in Chicago this weekend for Windy City Riot. Very much looking forward to that show. And it gets us to the end of the show because he gave us his challenger for Windy City Riot, which is going to be Shota Umino. Very unpopular initially. The Ryogoku crowd was not happy initially when he called out Shota. But I think this was the right call, because if Shota would have came out and challenged him in the same way that he did Zack Sabre Jr., the crowd would have booed even heavier. Right. I think Goto being the one to call him out, that worked out better. And I think the crowd got more and more into it after the aftermath went on. I still don't know how I feel about continuing to try to go, well, look, we're just going to repackage him, but you're still very clearly keeping him around the world title picture and still pushing him pretty heavily.
Right.
I don't know how well that's going to work. I do think that the change of look for him has worked. I think like the little bits of change to his moveset has worked. But I think he's got to go full in and either turn full heel, change his music and everything, change his entire presentation for it to work.
And I don't know if the fans believe that he's earned the stock yet still, because it hasn't been that long since the Wrestle Kingdom stuff, hasn't been that long since the New Japan Cup stuff. So it's like, we still want you to get to that place, and then now you're being gifted essentially a title match. I mean, I guess it changes it a little bit because it's in Chicago. It's not on one of the bigger New Japan shows, so it like doesn't give the vibes that Shota's gonna go over, but it's still like, I'm sure the fans are like, oh, this guy again, you know what I mean?
Yes. But I'm fine with it for what New Japan Strong has been, and doing that show in Chicago. I think it's fine.
Right.
We got a bunch of other stuff announced for that show. Of course, we got the Ishii Gabe Kidd match. Ishii was hilarious on the pre-show last night, if you guys didn't see it. RJ and Renee and Double J were standing there doing the usual pre-show stuff, and so Ishii walks up and he has the mic like he's going to talk, and then Mark Briscoe just comes in. He starts cutting his whole promo, talking the whole time, and he's just standing there with the mic. So I was like, he's going to let Ishii talk? And so at one point, Jared's like, hey, I think he needs a mic. So he hands him a mic, and Ishii is now standing there with 2 mics saying nothing. It's so funny.
I'm gonna have to see that. I didn't get to watch the pre-show.
Yeah, very, very funny stuff. But speaking of AEW Dynamite, let's get into this show. I'm sure that's what a lot of people. Sorry, not Dynamite. Dynasty. D's.
Them D's.
Throw some D's on them.
I knew it was coming.
AEW Dynasty came to us from Philadelphia. I think this is the first AEW pay-per-view in Philadelphia.
I think so, yeah.
Long overdue.
Right.
That crowd was great throughout this. They've got to go back to Philadelphia because I thought this crowd was magnificent.
It was a Philadelphia crowd for sure. Definitely the vibes with how they've talked about for the last 30 plus years of the Philadelphia crowd. This was that crowd. There was the chants. There was the ECW style stuff. Like, they were great throughout the whole thing. Very energetic, enhanced a lot of the matches. Like, they definitely got to bring more to Philadelphia.
Yes. Very happy off top for AR Fox. He talked about beforehand just how excited he was to get to appear on a pay-per-view in Philadelphia. He put like a whole thing from his notes app on Twitter. And so seeing him come out to such a great response, that crowd, man, they were behind this guy, and man, couldn't be more happy for him. He deserves this. Hopefully this leads to more for him. He needs to be consistently on AEW pay-per-views, in my opinion, man. He's so good, bro. Such a dynamic performer. You can honestly say nobody moves like AR Fox does.
Way different than anybody else. The way that he strings together moves, the way that he navigates the ring, it's just much different energy than any other wrestler. I love that AEW's been kind of booking him on the shows recently to get people familiar that aren't familiar. So this hit really hard and perfectly. They're having him in a little bit of feud with Nick Wayne recently too. Like, just really dope to finally see him get some shine because he's so important to all of this.
Yes. AR Fox teamed up with the team of Top Flight to take on the Crew, Action Andretti, Leo Rush, and of course, a little toe rag, Nick Wayne. This was a very fun match. I say all the time, when trios wrestling is good, it hits, man, every time. And this match was a lot of fun, a lot of flippy stuff. All of these guys involved, very flippy dippy match. Felt like a very Reg match.
See, I have to go back and watch. Like I said, I haven't seen the pre-show, but this is one of the matches I need to go back and see because I know that these guys were going to do the thing that you need to do. In Philadelphia, you have to prep these crowds in a certain way, and this is how you do it.
Yes. Yeah. Nick Wayne and the Crew picked up the win here. Nick Wayne picked up the win. Judging by the stuff they're doing with him and Christian, I do think they're going to separate him off on his own. So this made sense for him to start picking up some wins.
Yeah, I know that they're probably gonna, the patriarchy thing's not gonna last for that long because Christian's friend looks like he needs some help out here. So we're gonna talk about that very soon. But I'm happy for Nick Wayne, especially with what we just talked about with the Best of Super Juniors. They got to start making him look like somebody on the AEW TV, separate him from Christian, get him some wins, get him familiar with the fans. So when he does go over to Japan, it's lit.
I did not see that, but people in our chat are saying that Desperado tweeted, "Is Nick Wayne's mom coming with him to the Best of Super Juniors?" That's very funny.
Hella funny. Shout out to Desperado. Shout out to Despy. That's dope.
Despy knows game. That's what you're saying. He knows ball.
Despy looked at that list. He said, "Nick Wayne? Is he old enough to get over here? He got to bring his mom, right?" And they're like, "Nah, he could come by himself."
You sure? She might need some company.
Yeah, like, what's he gonna do by himself this whole time? Shout out to Despy. I fucks with him. He just would climb the list with that one.
We got the Max Caster Open Challenge after this, and I'm very back and forth on Max Caster because sometimes he's on TV and I'm just like, just enough. Get this off my TV, bro. And so he came out initially and I was like, we're still doing this. He's still doing the let's go, Max, you're the best wrestler thing. And it's like, but he did pop me really good because he took off his jacket at one point. He's like, I know how to get you guys in it. He took off his jacket to reveal they on a Ben Simmons jersey. And he was like, now, one more time, do it for Ben Simmons. I was on the floor.
Okay, that's a good.
Very funny. Very funny. But this led to the return of Anthony Bowens. Bowens went back to all of his stuff from before he came to AEW. He's back to doing a 5-tool player gimmick that he was using before. He's using the same kind of gear. He's got new music. He looked great. Very happy to see him come back. Of course, he got the win. Squashed Max Caster. Man, I said it last year. He should have been in the Continental Classic. I am back on the same agenda. Get this guy in all the tournaments. Give this guy singles push. He was saying afterwards how he wants to be the first openly gay singles champion in the history of this company. Get to it.
Let's go. I'm super excited to hear about the return of Anthony Bowens. I don't know why he's been gone. This guy is really insanely super talented. I think he's one of the best workers that they got in the company, and he just needs to be given the opportunity. So if this is the start of a push, then I am ready for it. Just put Anthony Bowens in a bunch of singles matches with the guys that you know can go, and you'll see it.
Yes.
He's so good.
Yeah, that crowd popped big for him. This guy's got star written all over him. Just get
Bowens.
to it. Open the show with some hoopers. Open the show with Will Ospreay taking on new AEW signee Kevin Knight. boy, Kevin Knight came to show out. He came to show y'all who he is, and he succeeded. What a great pay-per-view debut for him. He was fantastic here. Insane athleticism, man. Oh, insane athleticism. Some of the jumps he hit here, some of the counters he hit. I mean, we already know he has one of the best standing drop kicks in wrestling. Probably the best standing drop kick at this point. But man, some of the stuff he pulled off, like that counter on the Oz cutter, the counter outside of Styles Clash into that DDT on the ramp. Bro.
When he did that misdirection dive where he tricked Will, but then he jumped over the corner with the dive too, I was like, nah, this guy is on a different level. This was the kind of pay-per-view debut that you dream of. You're in there with who many people consider to be the best wrestler in the world, and you guys are going 1,000 miles per hour. It's beating a dead horse saying this. Will Ospreay is an amazing pro wrestler. There's so many little things that he does. There's so many defensive things that he does to make his opponent look better that people just can't do. The way that he'll bump off of something, the way that he'll sell, the way that he's just different on so many levels. And there were some parts in this match where like Ospreay was like, I don't want to say caring, but he was showing why he is Ospreay. Kevin Knight, I thought, had a great display using his athleticism in a lot of the points, showing that drop kick off his. He's a New Japan wrestler because he gets better as the match goes along. Like if the match is longer, then he's really going to start cooking. As the match went along, he started getting to that fighting spirit, starts really going toe to toe, bar for bar with Ospreay, and he started cooking. But Ospreay gets into that Super Saiyan mode where it's like, I'm about to tear this fool up. I'm about to hit all my spots. I'm about to hit and blade this guy's head off, and it's over. And it's just, you can't stop that. Ospreay is undeniable.
Undeniable. Yeah, he's been very giving in his first year with AEW.
That's it. Yeah.
Probably more giving than he needed to be. He's been incredibly unselfish. I mean, he gave up a lot in this match. He took a lot of Kevin Knight's offense to make him look good here. And I think that's going to go a long way for Kevin Knight. This debut is going to really push him forward. And, man, kudos to Ospreay for doing that for him. Because, again, like, bro, there were points of this match where he was countering things where I was like, bro, this is that counter he pulled off of the Styles Clash in-ring where I don't know what that was that he rolled it into that penny predicament. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah, Ospreay always has the most insane counters and like stuff that we've seen him do before, but he'll change just one little thing to make it look totally different. Kevin Knight, I think he showed all the things that, like, if you're like, who is Kevin Knight? Like, this match was the showcase. The confidence, the athleticism. He just, like, looks like he's happy to be in there. But then he's also just trying to win the match, just trying to take Ospreay's head off, just trying to showcase, just trying to win this tournament. So I thought it was a great showing. Being in the first match of the show, very hard Philadelphia crowd, like, they did it.
Yeah, I definitely see the New Japan influences, like you said. This is definitely a guy that trained in the New Japan dojo because the way the match was paced and everything, very New Japan match.
Yep.
We got the Hurt Syndicate taking on the team of Big Bill and Brian Keefe afterwards. I really enjoyed this match because I thought coming into it, of course, Hurt Syndicate's going to pick up the win. I think we all knew the outcome, but I thought that Brian Keefe looked great in the spots that, you know, he was showcased here. Big Bill continues to work as a great anchor in a tag team. Go figure. This guy is really good at this. Every time you put this guy in a tag team, you remember, like, yeah, this guy is very good at tag team wrestling.
Big Bill is something else, man. Like, his confidence keeps growing with every opportunity that he's given. But I think, like, him falling into this and what happened a few weeks ago with MVP and that stuff, I think he took it in stride. And, like, this match, he was like, I'm coming to showcase who Big Bill is. I thought a lot of this was like, look at Big Bill. He's fucking gigantic. When him and Lashley locked up at the beginning, and you're like, damn, this Big Bill's a gigantic motherfucker, man. He looked giant. And Lashley's a big fool. I thought it was great to showcase that. There were some parts of it I was like, man, they're treating BK like the little brother, and I hate this shit. But I understand what the strategy of the match was, because it's Sheldon, it's Bobby, you had to go through that. But the parts where he was like getting his shit off or like getting to Big Bill. I thought he was doing that. Some really good showcases in that. The theme song, the Hurt Syndicate song, people are now doing the We Hurt People before the We Hurt People's part even starts. Like that song has crossed over into something different. It's probably my favorite wrestling theme song right now at this moment. Just tremendous. I was wondering why they wouldn't fucking shoot West Side Gun the whole fucking time. Like this guy's on the song and they would not shoot him on the camera. It was fucking driving me crazy. What was AEW doing? I'm like, he's right there. He rapped on the song.
Yeah, he was front row because he often is front row. And yeah, we saw him later in the show because he was sitting right next to a spot that was happening in the crowd. But yeah, they didn't show him at all during this, which I was surprised.
I'm like, yo, do the little graphic. West Side Gun, he fucking rapped on this. I was like, do they have beef with Fourth Row? What the hell's going on here? I don't know what's happening, but maybe it was just whatever. They don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, the We Hurt People chant is super over. It's
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Like, I love it so much just because who it was attached to. It's a West Side Gun Smoke Dizza MVP song. It's a hip hop song. Like everything about it just makes me feel good inside. But yeah, I thought this was super fun. Big Bill and Brian Keith looks like viable contenders, like way different than the perception was given a few weeks ago. Looked like at this point they maybe could win, but then Bobby and Sheldon get into big giant nigga shit and it's over. That's what happened.
Yeah, definitely. Bobby Lashley throwing people around, Sheldon hitting people with suplexes. What you would expect. They did pick up the win here.
With Max, help from Max.
With some help with a fan from the crowd. And I was dying laughing because somebody responded to him because he tweeted, "We hurt people" after the match, which was hilarious. But somebody responded with the clip of the Nation of Domination coming down to the crowd and that one white kid in the crowd with his fists up.
That's exactly what it looks like. I don't know what they're doing with this story, but I'm interested so far.
Yeah, I'm here for wherever this goes. I don't think he's going to end up in a group, but
no,
I'm here for wherever this is going.
Pretty good bits here.
Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart was up next in the first match we got from this show, from the Owen quarterfinals. I was surprised because I watched this match and I was like, that was fine. And then I got online and I saw people very much did not like this match. I was surprised how much people online did not like it.
I watched it and I thought it was fine. Like it wasn't the best Mercedes match that she's had, but I thought it was like an opening round match for this tournament.
It was a bit sloppy. It was a bit sloppy at times. There was stuff like Mercedes slipped off of the turnbuckle, which she took in stride.
Be mad about that because they're stupid.
Yeah, you know, she took a stride. She did her little dance afterwards, and there were parts where it seemed like chemistry was a bit off. But I thought it was fine. It was fine for what it was. I didn't think it was a huge deal. Mercedes at one point got Julia in the Tree of Woe, and then dropped down into Malachi's signature pose in front of her. I thought that was hilarious. She's just so great as a heel, man, because she gets you to root for whoever else is in there with her every time. And midway through the match, she somehow gets you to believe that they can win, even though you're like, well, wait a minute. No, this is Mercedes. She's not going to lose. But she still will get that crowd to think that she could lose. And man, the Julia Hart chants throughout this, the booed for Mercedes, it just shows why she's in her element as a heel, man.
That's why when that little slip happened so early, I was like, that's nothing. Mercedes is also like a long form wrestler. Like when she has a chance to build the match and tell some stories, like by the end of the match, you're going to believe that the person she's in the ring with is going to beat her. And that's like the most important part of being a heel, because when they eke out that little victory, then you hate them some more. And that's exactly what happened here. I thought that, yeah, of course it was sloppy and clunky in a little couple of parts, but that's just the name of the game. Anytime Mercedes is in there where she has to like slow down for a wrestler or take a couple of steps off, it kind of gets like that because she's so used to like bam, 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 bam. If she's not bam, 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 like things could happen. But I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I legitimately was confused as to why people were so down on it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I liked the exchange of submissions toward the end of the match. I thought like just the clash of styles here I thought worked. I know. I didn't get it.
Want to be mad. They are always trying to find something with Mercedes. That's the thing.
But yeah, Mercedes is on a hot streak. Start of the Owen Hart tournament. We got the stare down from Collision last week between her and Athena, which was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's credit to Tony for booking both of them so well that once they finally did interact, it feels like a big deal because, you know, these are two of the most dominant champions on their brand. It's not just like this is Athena and Mercedes. These are two people that aren't losing right now. So once you put them together, it's like, oh, man, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. And we got, even after this match, Athena was watching the match like a WWE wrestler in the back and kind of setting up some more things for the future. That match is brewing and could be happening here very soon, and it's going to be insane. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I would assume that's going to be a semifinals match in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. And that should be in the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, we've got the full bracket for the Owen Hart Cup. They're on the same side of the bracket, which I've seen some people complain about, but I don't mind it because I don't buy that. I never bought that was going to be the finals.
No,
and because the finals are at Double or Nothing, I think people assumed maybe they were going to be the pay-per-view match.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's the only thing I could think of is they thought it would be a pay-per-view match. But I didn't think that with the Double or Nothing thing that it would be the finals. Like it all kind of tied into it together, you know?
Yeah. We got the trios match for the AEW Trios Champion. The Death Riders took on the team of Rated FTR. Cope came out, still very much over. Theme song is still very much over. Crowd singing the entire thing. This crowd actually knew the words, unlike the crowd from Peoria. You guys did not know the words to that song.
No. Like, only do the thing where you keep singing if you know the words, though. Like that's kind of how it works.
They got past the chorus in Peoria, and they were looking around like, I don't know the rest of this.
Something on this day maybe comes up next. But yeah, Phil, you were talking earlier about with the AR Fox Top Flight crew match and Nick Wayne about how if a trios match is clicking, it's hot. And I thought that this match got into some really good shit. Like there was a bit at first where they weren't tagging in Dax and Cope and Cash were working a thing, and you could kind of see what's frustrating Dax. They were going 1,000 miles per hour. Then Dax gets in and he's going fire, fire, fire. So I thought that it started cooking. Pac was in there. Yuta was great in this. Like the crowd just hating him for most of it. The fuck you, Yuta chants. I thought that he was really being a shitty little heel, taking in all of his moments, just like really doing it. But I thought if this was when, like you said, when trios matches are great and they let the guys go for it, they're some of the best matches that AEW has. And this was one of those trios matches.
Yeah, I thought this trios match was really good. The Death Riders had great chemistry together. Whenever they were in there doing like their tandem offense, they looked great. Pac is another one. Go figure. You put this guy in a tag team or a trio, he's very good at it. He looked great. But yeah, incredible. Man, Yuta, massive heat from that crowd. And so when he got the Busaiku knee in at the end, and that crowd booed, he picked up the win. I was like, oh, yeah, perfect. And people don't know, Philadelphia is Yuta's hometown. That made it even funnier.
It was great.
I would say out of all the guys from the Death Riders that have benefited from the heat from this, I think Yuta has benefited the most. This guy, people hate this guy at this point.
Yeah, I don't think you're far off at all. I think like every time that I've been super duper mad at the Death Riders, Yuta's been attached to it. And that's like the point of this. Like he really takes that shit in, and I think that he's just harnessing it all to become a better heel. And like even the matches and everything has gotten better. He's like slow and methodic with it. Like Yuta's fucking killing it.
Yeah, he's definitely in the solo Sakura spot where he's the guy that does a lot of interference, so he gets a lot of heat on him. But he's also, I think, you can tell the guy that they're trying to build up as the guy to come out of this that's gonna get the most out of it.
Right. Also in this match, Claudio, I think just like kind of being the de facto leader of this trio is like any times where he starts cooking, you're like, oh yeah, this guy still is one of the top guys in the whole world. Like when he gets into his hot tag bag and he starts uppercutting everybody, like Claudio, not a lot of people can do it like him.
Incredible, man. Claudio is just amazing, bro. Just one of those guys that just can do anything. He can base, he can throw people around, he can do high flying stuff if he wants. Just amazing.
He's that JBL. If you built a wrestler from scratch, it'd be Randy Orton. It'd be Claudio. Claudio's the one that's flipping out of the ring. He's doing these high ass European uppercuts. Like that guy is something else.
Amazing. Yeah, I thought this was a great match. Perfect finish for what Yuta accomplished in this match. But the finish, we did get the finish of Dax bumping heads with Cope, and that's what led to Rated FTR losing. And so you can see the makings of it. Okay, the miscommunication was going to lead to a turn, but they shook hands, raised Cope's hand. So we thought it was over. Nope, Dax turned around, started beating on Cope, and then he jumped out the ring to get the chairs. Looked like he was going to do a concerto, and Cash was like, "What are you doing?" He pushed him, and the whole time Cope was getting up behind him, sets up the Shatter Machine. Cash turns heel as well. FTR is officially heels. I thought the execution of this turn was perfect. These two guys needed this. They needed something different. They needed a refresh for quite a while. I know people like the theme song. They had that little run for about a year or so where they were killing it, but they needed something like this very badly. And what this is going to set up with them at Copeland, very excited for that, because that's really what Cope came here for, I thought, was to do the tag team stuff with Christian. And if you're going to do a tag team feud with anybody in this company and the matches are going to hit, it's probably FDR.
Yeah, I thought the execution of this was fucking awesome. Them doing no, we're fine after losing the match, that little hugging thing. Cash turns his back, and then Dax hits Cope with the pile driver, and Dax does the Cash is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We shouldn't be doing, but like in your mind, you're like, no, you guys have probably talked about this before. So when he hands him the chair, he throws the chair down. That little moment where they transition into the Shatter Machine and the crowd realizes what's going on, like that is wrestling fucking 101 right there. Like write it in the history books. You want this moment. You want that moment 100 times out of 100 times. Just a perfect execution. I thought that them really hammering the heel thing by multiple concertos was a really good bit in it too. Having them look kind of vicious, like we don't want to be doing this, but also we do want to be doing this because Cope has taken us off of our game. We should be World Tag Team Champions, and we're over here fighting for the Trios Championships. Like so many reasons for them to do it. I thought that Cope was great in this, and what it's going to lead to is the most important thing, because like you said, the reason when Cope came, I was like, oh, it's going to be great to see him with Christian. Not, it's going to be great to see him in the world title match. So this is exactly where we need to lead to, starting with FTR and what happened at the end of the night with some returning guys. I think like this is how we go. Heel FTR, potentially having Cope and Christian as a team. The Young Bucks, like this is the tag team division that we need.
Yeah, there were little notes to this that were really good. I love the idea that he's getting ready to use the chair for the concerto, and he doesn't. And the tone, of course, the undertone is, no, that's your thing. Doing concertos on people, that's your thing. Yep. We're done doing your thing. It's just FDR now.
Yeah, super dope. And then kind of using the pile driver with the neck injury thing. They did the spike pile driver on the chair. Just like this is the vicious FTR we need. This is the kind of stuff we need to really hammer home this division. And this is like my favorite thing that I've seen Cope in, I think, since he's came to AEW, because I know what it's going to lead to. And I know it's like they're going to finally start giving up the dream matches and the things that they brought him here for.
Yes. Then even stuff afterward, Cash taking the neck brace and putting it on and laying in a stretcher. All very funny. I was looking around like, yeah, these guys are already way more interesting as heel.
5,000 times better in that 5-minute segment.
Yeah, this is what they should be doing. They should be little assholes beating people up and being jerks. I like it. This is where if this is where we're leading, doing the match with them and Outrunners and other people, get to it.
And like just start having the matches again, get them back to, if they're leading the division as heel tag team, like that's the way to go.
Yes. We got the AEW Women's World Championship up next. Timeless Toni Storm took on big up and comer Megan Bayne. I absolutely love this match. Possibly my favorite match of the night. Toni Storm coming out with the Rocky vignette. She had the Rocky gear on. Luther came out dressed up as Mick. Very, very funny stuff.
Hilarious. When Luther came running out at the beginning, I was dead.
Very, very funny stuff. But man, Megan Bayne, bro, if you are not on the bandwagon yet, buddy, it is not too late. Megan Bayne threw this woman around and beat up on her for most of this match. This very much felt like that theme of Rocky in Philadelphia where Tony won, but she really survived Megan Bayne.
I would like to, if you are not on the Megan Bayne train, chime in, because I would like to know how you could not be after seeing her in a performance like that and what she did to Toni Storm in this match. Yeah, having Tony do the classic Rocky bit of getting your ass demolished for most of the match. Megan's throwing her around. Those belly-to-belly suplexes where she was like dropping her on her shoulder and neck. Dangerous shit. There's a bunch of pump kicks and big boots that Bayne was hitting on Tony to keep her off the guard, just like using her power to really beat up on Toni Storm. She looked like fucking $1 million when Tony started locking in. She started hitting the corner butt bumps and she hit the Storm Zero, and Megan Bayne kicked out at 1. When Megan Bayne kicked out at 1, I was like, wait a second. She might win this championship. Like, I had converted in that moment over to Megan Bayne might actually win this, because I was like, damn, AEW has a lot of like faith in her to give her that opportunity on quite possibly the biggest character and wrestler that you have in the company. For her, somebody to kick out of her finisher and won, like, you have to feel a certain way about Bayne, and Bayne getting up and firing up and still trying to take off on her. Thought if the finish was very inventive too, of like, she can't use her regular stuff to beat her, so she has to use a wrestling hold, which is kind of like the basis of what Toni Storm has been to beat her. Very good stuff.
Yeah, I really love this. Just the man, that superplex off the bro. That superplex looked nasty. Great stuff. Like you said, her kicking out at 1. This is one of the top baby faces in the company, bro. Like, one of the most popular wrestlers in the company, and you're letting her kick out like that. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, Megan Bayne should have won. This hurt her by not winning. No, I think that she came out of this loss looking like a big monster. Like, the fact that she had to narrowly survive with the pin at the end. No, and really, this was Megan getting too confident. She didn't go for the pin where she should have. She kept hesitating, and she really cost herself the match with her own hubris. And that's why I'm saying I don't think she came out of this looking bad at all. I think Tony came out like she barely survived this match.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great storytelling, because we've talked about needing people like that are in Megan Bayne's position, like ones that you know are going to be something. We have to kind of start out early, giving them these opportunities. This was an early opportunity. She's shown that when she is given it, she's going to excel like she did in this. She looks great in it, and having a dominant performance, kind of getting caught off guard and Tony winning the match. Like, I thought all of it was like, no, Megan Bayne is here to stay. She's going to be able, like I said, I still think she could be the one to beat Toni Storm eventually. Like, all this was great for who she's going to be as a character. And then it also makes Toni Storm look great as the world champion, like took all that punishment, but still came out on the end with the championship. I thought this was great for both of them.
Yes. Yeah. Stock is very high for Megan Bayne. I do think she's going to be a future AEW world champion.
Facts.
Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe is up next in our first men's quarterfinals for the Owen. Mark Briscoe, man, this guy, you put him out there, he's going to leave everything in that ring.
Every time.
He took all of the offense that this guy threw out of him. This guy was hitting him with these stiff kicks in the corner. I mean, beating this guy down, and he just kept coming back for more.
There was one part where Mark Briscoe was in halfway through the top and middle rope, and Kyle threw like a kick that like turned into like this knee, and he hit Mark Briscoe so hard. I was like, wait a second, Kyle Fletcher is really beating Mark Briscoe's ass in this. Like, so many points where I was like, damn, that was a stiff shot. Damn, that was a stiff shot. Damn, that was a stiff shot. It was just like Kyle was bringing everything to this guy,
bro. Brainbuster onto that chair, down on his neck and shoulders. I was like, oh my God.
The one on the apron too. I'm like, no, he's trying to kill Mark Briscoe, I think. What's going on?
Like I said, he just kept taking all of this offense and just coming back for more. That was really the story of this. And man, talk about what we said earlier with Will Ospreay and how generous he's been. man, what he's done for Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher feels like legitimately a massive threat to anybody who's in the ring with now because of him.
Dude, Kyle Fletcher is a badass, man.
Bro, he was beating this guy down.
Yes.
Of course, he picked up the win here to move on to the next round. But I very much enjoyed this because it's Mark Briscoe. What a guy, man. I think every time now watching him on these big stages, watching him on our TV now becoming a star, it is just such a bitter irony that it didn't happen sooner. Because whatever the stuff was going on behind the scenes and he couldn't be on TV with Jay, it's just so sad it didn't happen sooner because, man, this guy was made to be on TV screens, man. When he was talking on the pre-show earlier, like I said, interrupting Ishii, I'm like, dog, this guy just effortlessly charismatic, just commands the screen. You put him in a ring with anybody. He's so versatile. What a performer.
Yeah, seeing Mark Briscoe, but like the Briscoes lore in Philadelphia is just so important because they've had so many pivotal moments here. This could be one of my favorite. This was one of my favorite matches of the show because could be my favorite match of the show. But just how like hard hitting it was just like you two guys go out there and beat the shit out of each other. Mark Briscoe started to get into his bag. He hit his froggy bro. He hit a disgusting cutthroat driver where I was like, oh yeah, Kyle Fletcher dead, I think, like right on his neck. It's like dangerous stuff. He hit a froggy bow to the outside. Like this was a really good showcase for what this tournament is gonna be. But it was really like Kyle Fletcher's a big star. He's gonna be the main event of this company very soon. And it was kind of a showcase for him, even though Mark Briscoe got all of his shit in. But just a really good match.
Yeah, really great start for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. The bracket looks great for both the women and the men this year. I think changing it so the winner gets a shot at All In has really made this tournament feel more important. It's added so much to it. I said last year that was my favorite of the Owen going forward for both the men and the women. I think this year could easily surpass it with the field that we have.
Kyle Fletcher won, and he could in the semifinals face Hangman Adam Page. Fletcher and Hangman is gonna be fucking crazy
if we get Hangman, because there's a wild card. And initially, when I looked at this, I was like, oh, they're gonna mirror last year where Hangman was a wild card, and this year it'll just be Jarrett because Jarrett has told us he wants the title match. That'll be the way to give Hangman the win over Jarrett, and he'll move forward. I don't think it's going to be Jarrett anymore.
No, definitely not going to be Jarrett. Not what's transpired here later in the show.
Yeah. Which I hope I'm wrong about this quarterfinals match for Hangman because it kind of feels like it's going in a certain direction. I don't know how I feel about it, but the bracket so far looks great. Will Ospreay is my early pick to win this thing based on everything we've seen. Initially, I was saying Hangman, and it could be a chance Hangman still could win, but based on everything we saw at the end of this night and some of the other stuff, I think this is Will Ospreay's tournament to win.
Yeah, it feels like I was going to say after the first match, after Ospreay won and he started doing the WrestleMania point, I was like, I think it feels pretty prime for this to be his thing. You know what I mean? Like, feels like this is his tournament. All of this is a build up for him to be in that spot. And I'm not mad at it at all, you know?
No, I think that's a great call with how unselfish this guy has been in the first year.
Honestly.
And we've talked about so much about how every pay-per-view this guy is on, he feels like the biggest star out there. His match stands out every time. It's usually the best match on the card. Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world to push him forward and have him win a tournament.
And with how we've been ending these shows, Phil, we have to start ending them feeling good, and having a banging ass Ospreay match to end the show is the way we need to move towards.
It's only a matter of time before pay-per-views are ending with Elevated and him standing up there with the crown over his head.
Right.
It's only a matter of time. And I feel the same way on the women's side. This is Mercedes' tournament to win, guys. I don't know if you guys realize it yet. I've seen some people go, oh, well, why is she on? Bro, I think she's winning. This woman has been on hot streak. We've unleashed tournament Mercedes at this point. Bro, the idea of her getting a Statlander rematch in the finals, or maybe Jamie Hayter, and then you've got the Athena match lined up as well.
If we get them put any of those potential matches, and then the end is her and Toni Storm at All In, like,
yeah,
you know, Come on.
Unless
she
Tony
was announced for this, I was like, probably going to be Mercedes, I think.
Yeah, unless Tony loses before All In, which that's why I said I could see Athena beating Tony, because Athena versus Mercedes at All In would be awesome as well.
I mean, that's what I've wanted since they did the announcement for it. So I could tell. I mean, I could definitely see Tony losing that championship before then. But I think Tony versus Mercedes is going to be such a big match too that I don't know. You know?
Yes. Bandito versus Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This was definitely a match.
I was watching. I got home at like 10 p.m. from flying and everything, and I started watching the show. By this point, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm sleepy.
Hop right off the jet to Jericho match.
God, do not do this to me. They went over to Bandito's mom and sister crying. I was like, you know what? Get me out of here. Because I know that Jericho's like, and you guys really crying him? I was like, you know what? All right.
This match was it was something. It was what it was. It was a Ring of Honor World Championship match. I was sitting there the whole time like, Bandito can't win because he can't lose because he's not going to lose his mask.
No.
And you can't conceivably keep this belt on Jericho much longer. You've got Supercard of Honor coming up in May. I would hope that Bandito is going to be defending the belt at the start of the show. I mean, at the end of the show. So, yeah, it was fine for what it was. It's Jericho trying to keep up with Bandito. They've continued to butcher that 5 paces spot that they did with the Brian Keith match. That was so cool.
Do it again. Just stop
and
doing
it's just like, okay, end it. It's over.
It was fine, but there was they try to keep hamming up like the family element and add drama to this, and like it just wasn't. We weren't buying it. They did the false. He beat him 1, 2, 3, and you're like, oh shit, what's happening here? And I hated that part. Then they never in wrestling do this. I hate when they pick and choose where they're going to do this. Aubrey starts talking to Bandito's mom and sister, and they're like, oh, there's a bat. And so she goes to find the bat, and then they restart the match. Like they never do this on any other matches. Why do they pick and choose to do it now?
It's so funny based on the end of the show because they never did this at the end of the show.
Right. Why now though? But now though, all right, bring somebody out. Let's have an instant replay. But like when the big important shit, no, they can't do it.
Yeah. So yeah, this false finish for this was incredibly unnecessary. Jericho uses the bat to beat Bandito after Gravity as commentary called him Gravitas.
Gravitas. He got a big pop, I think, because people were like, oh yeah, that's Gravity.
Yeah, Nigel calling him Gravitas. Hilarious. But yeah, so Gravity came out to help, and Jericho hits him with the bat, picks up the win, 1, 2, 3. We think that the match is over. Everybody's like, no way. Bandito's going to lose his mask. Then all of a sudden, the camera cuts to Aubrey talking to his family, and they're like, look, they're over there. And so they come out onto the mat at this point. Like, Aubrey's like getting them to show her where it is. Like, this is like some Scooby-Doo mystery or something. And they go, look, see, there's a bat. And then Aubrey picks up the bat and holds it in the air all dramatically. I was like, what is this, man?
What's happening right now? Why does Aubrey have the bat and why is she holding it up like she just discovered a gold plate or some shit? What is this? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it was very over dramatic, very
way too much. Awkward placement on the card for the match. Like everything about it was like, what?
Yeah, so this restarts the match. Bandito quickly picks up the win. Bandito is the new Ring of Honor World Champion. He gets on commentary and says, we won. This is for us. This is for my family. We're champions. Mexico, we're champions. Cool stuff. I just wish that it happened in a different way. Bandito's great. He never lost that belt. Of course, he got injured and had to vacate it. I wish we got here in a different way. And please, now that you have this belt on him, do something with this belt on Ring of Honor. Have the champion on Ring of Honor. Like, book something interesting for Supercard of Honor. personally, I wouldn't be mad at Brian Keith getting a rematch for the Ring of Honor World Championship. There's a story there with them separating. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at fucking Blake Christian getting a shot. Like, there's people on the Ring of Honor show that could do this, but put them on the Ring of Honor show and book this Supercard of Honor match. Chris, we understand the Chris Jericho experiment, but I think we're good here. Like, move him to something else.
Yes. Tyler is saying that he did lose to Gresham. They had that unification match,
That's
but
right.
Technically he didn't. Technically he didn't lose. And it's a technicality, but they kept pointing this out on commentary. Also, probably not surprised that they don't talk about Jonathan Gresham anymore, which I think is a shame.
Hate it.
Very excited to see Gresham over WrestleMania weekend, though, because he'll be wrestling another one of my favorite wrestlers, Zack Sabre Jr. So I know where I will be Thursday night. I will be at Bloodsport watching those guys wrestle.
Very excited to see Gresham back out there doing his thing. I think he still is incredible and still has a place in all this, and I hope they get it all figured out.
Yes. Adam Cole versus Dan Garcia for the TNT Championship. I didn't know what to expect out of this match because this Garcia reign has not been great for him. I do think that both he and Adam Cole have benefited greatly for their feud because their series of matches have been so good. And I think both of these guys needed something like this, particularly Adam Cole, because people had Adam Cole kind of fucked up a little bit, man. Like, they were basically like, he's washed. He came off of a bad injury and, some stuff in his personal life, which just sounds familiar. He's gonna come out there and go, you guys, I'm having a bad time.
Chicago.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, this was, I was feeling that too, because they've been doing this series of matches on Collision and they've been telling this story. They've been all this interference. So they announced there's going to be no interference. And like, we talked multiple times on here about Danny's run as the TNT champion and how it hasn't been the best and they haven't really set him up in great positions. And so it was like, well, are they going to just take the belt off of him when he did it? Like, I can't tell you anything that happened in his reign that attaches him to that championship. You know what I mean? Like, he had the belt, but like, what did he do when he had it? Like, now he has like this Adam Cole thing. So I didn't really know what the match is going to be, but yeah, I'm kind of on your side too of like, it says Adam Cole though. Like they did have him fucked up. Like when he talks all that NXT shit and black and gold, like it was Adam Cole time, like for everybody. Like he was over as fuck. Like he was the guy, like, and he still is that guy. Like
very popular still.
Super over. This theme is still over. He's still that guy. Adam Cole baby is still all that. He got caught up in that devil MJF shit and people kind of forgot. But like when he still gets to work, he is one of those guys. And I thought this match was that, like, it was classic Adam Cole bits, a lot of super kicks, a lot of that stuff. Like he's still really great storyteller. I thought Dan Garcia was really great in this too. Like showing, like, if you see Daniel Garcia when he first came to AEW and you see this Daniel Garcia that was working last night, completely different guys. Like this guy feels like a veteran. He feels like he knows who Daniel Garcia is as a wrestler, the way that he works the match very smartly. Like he gets who Daniel Garcia is. And that's what's kind of unfortunate about the run, because I'm like, I wish he was able to do this, what he's doing in this match against all the other opponents as the champion, you know?
Yeah. I started to feel like Adam Cole was going to win about midway through it because Danny was working more and more heelish throughout the match. He kept going for the holds, and he kept targeting his ankle, and he was just doing more and more stuff, like arrogantly, like doing a little modified Muda lock that he was doing, and he started doing the dance with it. I was like, yeah, he's hamming it up. I think he's
heel Danny, anyways. I'm like, I don't really like that babyface Danny, regardless.
I think it works better with his style of wrestling.
Yes, exactly.
And so I could see him conceivably turning heel after this. But yeah, I thought that they worked really well together in a series of matches. I thought that this was a good match with them. I think it's a shame that the crowd was not as into it at some point.
The crowd wasn't really. The match placement for this one they probably could have went earlier in the night, actually.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the match overall. I think man, after it actually happened, I was like, yeah, this is a big win for Adam Cole. He did kind of need this. Just his reaction when he got it, he was like, yeah. I was like, I feel you, Adam.
Genuine reaction. Yeah. Go for it, Adam.
He's beating his chest too.
Yeah, straight up. And I guess kind of thinking about the Danny stuff, this championship needs an Adam Cole. It needs somebody that, like, if they get him into it feels like we're beating the dead horse with this shit too. Open challenge this fucking belt. That's what it's for. Put Adam Cole on Collision and have him face any random people, and that's how you get some prestige to this championship, you know?
Yes. I agree. I think that what he can do on TNT with this championship, he's going to do really well. He had on the great Butcher gear as well. That looked fire. Then he said that this is his 17th year in wrestling officially. Congratulations to him on that as well. I think he needed this, man. Like, he's been in AEW for a minute now, and this is his first singles championship. Well deserved, man. I just wish that Danny had a better title run, but
whoa. What's next for Danny, you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like I said, I could see him turning heel. I just don't know, like, what are you gonna do with him from there?
Me too. I'm because I was thinking about it after this match. I was like, damn, that's unfortunate. Big win from Adam Cole, all deserved. But like, what would do with Danny off of that? Like, he had the big MJF feud, and then he won the championship. But then it was like they had him mixed up in like some trio shit and doing some other stuff. Like, you could put him in a trios thing, but like, I think there's more for him to come, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully so. Such a great talent, great wrestler, and like I said, I think he's coming to his own a lot with AEW. You can see that he's put the character stuff together with the wrestling. We already knew that he's a great technical wrestler, but he's added a lot of dimensions to his work.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Dan.
Big match. Kenneth Omega from Winnipeg came out up next to defend the International Championship against Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. This match was absolutely tremendous. Basically what you would expect.
Yeah.
Ricochet, bro. This guy, man. This guy is clicking on all cylinders, man. He's got the character stuff going.
Effortless, all of it.
Bro, he works so well with the crowd. He plays into the crowd so well. When they started the ball chants and he was standing there and he started wiping and said, that's okay. That's okay. Loved it. Funniest guys out there. Jumping on commentary and talking on commentary and then getting the headphones kicked clean off of his face.
Oh, my God.
Speedball. That is going to be... That is gonna be a meme from here on. It became a meme after the show. Just Speedball's foot coming in. He's just standing there.
Yeah, now Ricochet has destroyed it in all elements, but particularly in this match, like you're describing, he was on fire. Just like the crowd participation he was using, the way that he was kind of evading being the heel in the beginning, being like, I'm not about to get into that, but then getting into that. There was so many, I said effortless. There were so many effortless things that he did in this match. At one point, he hit 2 shooting star presses like back to back on both guys. And I was just like,
bro,
one shooting star press is the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. And then he just does another one like 30 seconds later and just like so easily, just tremendous work. I thought that this was the coming out party for Speedball Mike Bailey. Like, all the beats and elements that make Speedball Mike Bailey a great wrestler were on display here. Insane kicks. Some of the kicks I was like, oh, Kenny Omega's dead, I think. Like, he would come with like some super roundhouse, knock Kenny's head off, and I'm like, oh, he's dead. Then he would catch Ricochet with something, do that. But all of his like beats, like the moonsault with the knees and the triangle moonsaults and the other acai moonsault where they're trying to baseball slide him and he catches both guys. This was like, if you want to know what got this guy to the dance, he did all of it here in this match.
Yeah, he was amazing. Like you said, some of the strikes he hit when he was doing those rapid fire kicks he does, and Ricochet tried to interrupt it, and then he just restarted it once he got back in front of Kenny Omega. Really fucking cool. Like you said, he did
so fast.
That little spinning kick that he does. The time adventure where he rotates out of the corner and does a spinning kick into the corner. I mean, God, the way it landed flesh on Kenny's jaw, I was like, I don't think he's going to keep going after that, but all right. At one point, Kenny delved deep into his bag. Once he saw that he had hurt his knee, he tried to get him into a knee bar, which we don't see Kenny do a whole bunch of mat wrestling, but tried to get him into a knee bar. He escaped, and so he had been favoring this knee after he tried to go for the ultimate weapon, landed clean on the apron, right on his knees, and so he'd been favoring that knee after that. And for the rest of the match, he was favoring it. Kenny tried to target it a few times. That led to him doing this crane kick spot, which I was just like, oh, he's just goofing, bro. Clean.
Foot inside of mouth, dog. So perfect. Unbelievable shot. Like, you couldn't script a better shot of a fucking crane kick than what you saw here.
Incredible. Also, I love the story that they were building up to. He kept trying to hit Kenny with the ultimate weapon throughout the match, even though his knees were injured. He just kept trying to go for it. If you don't know the story behind this, he talked about it a little bit when we interviewed him. That when he started with PWG, he used to do the shooting star press, and everybody was doing shooting star presses. So he started adding the knees to it, and that's how it became the ultimate weapon. But even further, the ultimate weapon is a Final Fantasy reference. Ultimate weapon is the last weapon used in the game to kill Sephiroth. Sephiroth, of course, Kenny Omega's reference is his finishing move is the one-winged angel. So at several points, Speedball kept trying to hit him with the ultimate weapon, and he was that close. He was that close several times to hitting him with that move and winning the match. Loved that aspect to it, but also
I don't even know. That's some lore right there, man.
Yeah, great, but that's, you could tell that's not just how Speedball's mind works. But Kenny Omega with the lore, man. Kenny Omega, massive star, came out every time he comes out with his big final boss music. Now, bro, just grows on me more and more. He comes out. He just feels like a massive deal when he comes out.
I still get the vibes when he comes out. Like I remember like who this is. Every single time he has that big entrance, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the guy that wrestled Okada and had those amazing matches. Like, this is part of the reason why this company exists, because of this fucking guy. And you just get those vibes when he has that big boss entrance.
Yes, he came out. He amazing. I mean, still one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Easily.
I mean, we talk about how well Ricochet played to the crowd. Every time he added in the head slaps to it, when he had him in the corner and he kept hitting him over the top of his head and then adding a chop afterwards. It was hilarious. Really great stuff, man. When he started firing towards the end of the match, where it felt like he was in desperation mode, like, I got to put these guys away, and he's just landing V triggers on both of these guys back to back, bro. Just incredible.
Like, the way that Kenny locks in and he turns into that guy, the one that is unbeatable, at one point was the best wrestler in the world. It's another level. And this too, the finish of this,
man,
the finish.
Back and forth to get us to this setup where it looks like Ricochet is trying to come out of the corner, and I couldn't tell what he was trying to set up at one point. It looked like he was trying to set up like a Frankensteiner, Hurricane Rana, or something like that. But this sets up the super one-winged angel.
And
absolutely,
like usually, like, it's the other way. Like, he jumps into the ring, but this time he like did the backwards jump into it.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
When he was getting him up into the electric chair, I was like, okay, how are you going to pull this off from that direction? But to be able to tuck him in and come straight down and hit that without like hitting any of the ropes or turnbuckle, just come straight down and hit it clean. Man, that was fire. So great finish.
Clean, too. That shit looked beautiful. Like, you couldn't, like, that's a bump. That's a set, like, all of the perfect elements for that move. Great fucking finish to it. And Mike's trapped on the top rope with the Tree of Woe, essentially.
Yeah. So that played into his knee being hurt. So he couldn't get out of the Tree of Woe to help or break up the pin. Excellent finish, man. Just really good match. I love this match.
Triple threat match, all like Phil said, all the things you would expect. Like, what are these three guys going to do in a triple threat match? They did it. If you want to see some fire ass shit, this was it.
Yeah. Love this match. Everything about it. Again, Ricochet kind of stole the show here, but also Speedball being Speedball, and Kenny Omega still one of the best wrestlers in the world. Afterwards, we've got the Rainbakers music to continue to set up the road to Okada versus Omega 5. I've seen a lot of people say, I don't know about Arlington now after the end of the show. Listen.
What?
As long as Kenny Omega versus Okada is on that card, I will be in Arlington, Texas in July.
Easy.
This is the first time that these two will wrestle on American soil. I will be there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't care how I got to make this happen. I will be there.
I don't think people understand the magnitude of what that is. Like, it probably just feels like, oh, they've done this match before us, blah, blah, blah. No, match is gigantic. It's huge. It's on American soil. And if it's going down, we're going to be there live. So I like that they just keep kind of teasing it. This time, Kenny seemed annoyed that Okada came out after his match. I'm like, okay, they're going to set this up. We're going to slow walk the dog, but we're going to get something amazing at the end of it.
Yeah, I love it because the first time we saw this, Kenny Omega, of course, came down to the ring, and it was after Okada won this match. This time, Okada came out after Omega, and he was just like, after everything I had to do to win this match, I'm not trying to deal with you. Get out of the way.
And Okada just has this little smirk of like, what? I just wanted to come congratulate my friend. I don't know why you're acting like this.
Yeah. Very much looking forward to that because there's no way that is not the match coming up on All In.
Gotta be.
It has to be. Just and that is a big one. That is definitely one of Tony Khan's white whales. He's been chasing this match for a very long time. Being able to say he's the guy that brought this match to America is going to be a big accomplishment for him. And to be able to get it on the card for All In makes all the sense in the world. Again, I don't care what's happening in the world. I will find a way to be in Arlington, Texas in July.
Have to see that live.
But main event.
Here we go.
This is where we are. Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. We have both said multiple times we wanted Swerve to win this match. Big time Swerve defenders, Swerve Vengers on this show.
As they say.
But let me tell you, everything that I am, just as a fan of this guy before he came to this company and watching this guy in Defy and all these other places, I was already a Swerve fan long before he came to AEW. The AEW run has added to my fandom. Buddy, when he came out there with the Static Shock gear, I was like, dog, I don't want to hear no more, man. Enough, man. Like, this entrance was so fire. As a fan of Static Shock, as a fan of what this represents, Milestone Comics, if you do not know, I'm going to get into my deep nerd bag at this point. Milestone Comics, creator-owned, black creators. The great maestro, Dwayne McDuffie, gave us Static Shock. And Dwayne McDuffie is no longer with us, of course. Rest in peace to him. Legendary creator, did several great things, like he was behind the Justice League cartoon. He was a writer on there, was a writer on a lot of great things. Does not get enough of his flowers. So me sitting at home as a big fan of Static Shock and what that guy represents to not just my comic fandom, but just as a black man, I was like, bro, this guy came out last year at Dynasty as Black Panther, came back this year, Static Shock.
You're saying this
I was like,
You're saying this about Swerve, the guy that's not about the culture, from what I hear, though. Everything that I'm like, wait, Phil's describing something that they say that he doesn't do, though. How does this,
bro?
Doesn't add up.
I was hyped at this entrance, and it made me even more disappointed when we got to the end. But it started on such a high note. That entrance was so awesome,
when
man.
The static, and then the spotlight. He's crouched down. I'm like, oh, we lit. This is it. We're about to do this.
When it came down, like, just everything about the presentation of the entrance with like his dreads draped down over him with the god, bro, that shit was so fire, man.
Yeah. And then the match started.
Yeah. The match.
Were there points in this match where you thought that he still could do it? Because as it went further along, I was like, I don't know. It's not looking that great.
There was a specific part where I thought he was going to win. And when it happened, I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to win. But I don't understand the whole, how they put together these Death Rider matches at this point.
Yes.
I it's just not for me. It just like Mox, grinds you down and gets you down on the mat, grinds you down, for most of the match. And I think that would work if he's been just like working this kind of match style and beating you down and winning clean. But it's like when you do that and then he still wins with interference, it's like, what is the purpose? Because you're trying to get us to the point where we're behind the babyface and them getting their big comeback spot. But when the comeback spot finally comes and then in the back of your head, you're like, okay, the interference is going to come anyway.
Exactly.
It just, I don't, and I say that because it's like, it makes the first 10 minutes or so of the match so slow.
Exactly.
And the pacing of it just doesn't really hit for me, man. No. And that there was a lot of that in this match that was just like, especially so many of the matches before this. We're coming right after that triple threat, which was like non-stop action, and you start this match and it's like grind to a halt, slow plotting to the point. And I'm just like, I don't know, man.
And like what you're describing here, it's like Mox is trying to tell us he's two different kind of guys. Like you're saying in the beginning of the match, he's this badass MMA guy. He's on the ground, he's throwing elbows, he's throwing this, he's blah blah blah. But then the interference and everything at the end tells me you're like a chicken shit heel. So like, which one are you? Like, do you need help or do you don't need help? Because half of the match you're telling me you're a badass that could conquer the world, but then the second half of the match you're telling me you need help every single time. It just doesn't really add up. I thought they got a lot of sympathy on Swerve for a lot of this match. Like there was good moments in this, good elements. Even like it got fun with Mox. Like after he got past that initial slow motion thing that we're doing, when they started, getting into it before the interference shit, it felt like some good moments. It felt like a good world title match, you know what I mean? But then like the interference started and then it was just bloodline light.
Yeah. And that is another trademark of the bloodline matches. Roman starts the match, he's gonna grind you down into the ring, he's gonna do a lot of the rest holds, he's gonna
talk shit to the crowd while he has you in his
crowd. It just it feels very out of place on the AEW card. Then when they start the ladder spot and the ref is like, get down, no, and I'm like, well, why won't you count? You're the ref. Why won't you count them out? They're outside of the ring. This is not a disqualified.
No.
He's just like, no, get down. And he's telling the whole time, get back in the ring. I'm like, count. You're the ref.
You can get him back in the ring. You're the ref. Yeah.
So, yeah, that gets us to the ladder through the table spot, which it's fine. But again, cool, it kind of doesn't mix with the rest of this match. Like,
right.
I don't know.
It was just plunder for the sake of plunder. Like, let's do a ladder match, ladder spot. Like, why are you bringing out a ladder? What would you need a ladder for?
Yes, and like you said earlier with the Jericho stuff. Okay, if the ref can have somebody in the crowd go, "Hey, look, you should disqualify him because there's a bat there." It's like, bro, you're standing there the whole time, just letting him do this on the ladder. You're the ref, do something. It was a few times in the match where I'm just like, ref, get some control. What's going on?
Are you the ref or right? Because you use your authority in certain points, but then at these points you don't. So I don't understand what your job is.
It did start to pick up towards the end, and I got into it. The specific point where I was like, he's going to win is when the interference started and Mox inadvertently hit Marina, which was a great play off of the stuff from Monday. I thought the mixed tag match from Monday was really good. I thought the way that they played up the stipulation with the mixed tag and the stuff with Willow at the end, really liked it. Liked when both guys got the women in their finishers and Marina's just like, do it. Really liked that match. This was a great payoff of that stuff with Marina. That was a good way to take Marina out.
I like that spot a lot. The cutter spot with her moving out, like really good stuff right there.
Yes. Then, of course, the rest of the Death Riders came down, and that brought the Ops in because the Ops have been saying, we're going to be at Dynasty. We're going to be looking around. Don't let us catch you lacking. Again, good payoff to that. Takes the rest of the Death Riders off of the field. Okay. When Hangman comes down, I was like, he's going to win. That was when I believed.
I believed at that point too, yeah.
Because I thought at that point and when he was standing on the apron and he was trying to figure out what to do with the buckshot, I was like, okay, he's gonna hit Mox with it.
Whip in and hit Mox. Yep.
And he's gonna win. And so I was sitting there, and when that didn't happen, I was like, well, why did they do that? Because it didn't lead to anything. It just led to them knocking him off the apron. And then once he got thrown out of the ring, he was just dead. He never came back. I was like,
The whole time.
where is he?
Claudio slammed him against the ring steps, and he was dead. That was it. He never came back. And this guy, he didn't have a match. Like, he wasn't groggy from earlier. Like, he should have came back from that.
Yeah, I didn't get that part. So that left Mox prone, I thought. Then he hit the word swerve stomp. Could go for the pin. Lights out, and I was like, oh no.
God.
No. Lights come back on. Matt Nick Jackson hit the EVP trigger. Young Bucks are back. Mox gets the pin. He is still your AEW World Champion. I hated this finish so much, man. I can't lie to you. I hated this finish so much. And it's not so much that like them coming back is bad in this way. It's not so much that like everything around it. It just took so long to get to this point, and then everything around it was just like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing all this interference? Why? It's just like when you've seen. I mean, just put it this way:
We've seen this already, man. That's it.
When you saw how great Swerve's run was, because he was just wrestling and he was having great matches, even a little bit of Bryan as champion, and we were just getting good matches. And then you get to this, and it was just like, it's just every match, it's like the ending gets interference, overbooked, a bunch of people running down to the ring. You got to deal with 5 people coming down there. It's like, I just don't want any of this. And my hatred of it.
When the ops came down to get them, I was like, oh, finally there's some help. But I was also like, oh, they're doing this interference. Like, why is there a brawl going on the outside of the fucking match? Get all these guys out of here.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't have hated it nearly as much if we hadn't been seeing this for 6 months now. It's like, God, just it's where I got with the bloodline stuff at one point. It was just like, God, I get it. Do something else, man. Like, just do something else, bro. I just, and I mean, it didn't help that I didn't like that Swerve was losing in this way, because I do think this was the wrong call. It just felt like this was the right time. The energy was behind them. All the buzz leading up to this. You had that great closing segment from Dynamite as well, where you had Hangman and Swerve backstage, and you had the back and forth with him where he's like, you burned down my house, where you deserved it. I know. And that was such a good moment. And the payoff of it was just him coming out to interfere and getting taken out. Like,
and Denise and I were talking about on the post show, he needed to get some comeuppance for what happened to Willow. Like, if anything, Willow got beat up, Swerve got dumped in the glass and beat up at the end of Dynamite, and then at the Dynasty didn't get anything to show for it. Like, he got beat up and then he got beat.
We're still doing this belt in a briefcase shit. It just
still, when the referee held up the briefcase at the beginning of the match, I was like, okay, we're doing a bit at this point. Like, this is a joke.
And it wasn't even like, man, it ain't even like, oh, this is heat. Like, I hate this. Like, it just feels like I'm not interested in any of this. And
yeah, it was a loud groan. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so mad at the Death Riders. It was like, oh, this Death Rider shit again. Not interested, and that's way worse.
Yeah, and I know I've seen quite a few people say online, well, you just wanted Swerve to win, and that's why you hated it. No, it's mostly that I just am tired of this mock stuff. It's not good. And I'm just ready for them to do something else with the world title. When you come out of Revolution and that show was so good, you had so many people on that show that I want to see more with. You open that show with the great Hangman and Max stuff, and it's like, okay, I want to see what these two guys do next. Okay, Will Ospreay finished up his feud with Fletcher. Okay, let's get to it. Let's see what he's going to do next. Swerve had the Ricochet stuff, moved on, had a great stuff after the show. And it's like, all right, great, we're off to the races. You set up 4 guys right there where I want to see what these guys do next. I want to see these guys challenge for the world title. I want to see them in the mix. And we're still doing this goddamn interference bit in this briefcase. It's just like, God, just do something else, man. Please just do something else.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have been mad if Mox won, but in a totally different way. Like you won in the same match that you've been doing for the last 6 months, dog. Like it's not even inventive at this point. It's like I could predict what you're gonna do. The match is gonna go on, and then there's gonna be a bunch of fucking interference, and it's not gonna be the same guy that got you the victory last time. It's gonna be something different. It's just like this is so convoluted and bullshit, and I just want something better for this championship. The main event scene, there's so many wrestlers that could be in this spot that it could work out, and I just don't really understand. Like you said, this is probably the most prime time after the Revolution ending, after all of this. Like this felt good, but this just felt like, no, we're just gonna do what we've been doing, even though you guys don't like it.
Yeah, and you got so much good stuff coming out of this. I thought, like I said, the mixed match last week, mixed tag last week, great. You had that segment where they had the promo and back and forth. I thought that was the best segment Mox has had as champion during this run. Even I'm not even mad at the storytelling during this match, because I thought the storytelling throughout the match was good. I enjoyed it all the way up till we started to get into the usual stuff where everybody's running down to the ring that we've been doing for months, and it's like
like I wouldn't have hated if they would have just did the Hangman bit. Like if Hangman would have came in and that was it, and blah blah blah, kind of further that story would have been fine. But when they had everybody out there, 10 guys going for it, that's not the way to go. Phil, they can't keep ending their shows like this. Like the Revolution show was one of the best AEW shows of all time. Across the board, people in the building were saying it, people online were saying it, but the ending left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And coming off that show, us on this show, everybody was like, they can't continue to do this. And then they just went and did it again.
For a second show in a row. Yeah, that was what I thought about as well. As poorly received as the ending of Revolution was, I thought, all right, you had the saving grace of Swerve coming out at the end. This feels like this is it. This is the moment. You got to move on, and we're not moving on. We're still going with this. We're still going with this at least till July, and I don't think they should do that. I don't get it. The other part, I at one point was really worried because I was like, okay, why did he say that? Because Jay White cut that promo backstage during the interview, and he was saying, well, if I can't be number one contender, nobody's winning that belt. I was like, okay, it feels like he's going to interfere in this match.
Yeah.
And he said something else after that. I was like, okay, that feels like that's where it's going. Got injured, unfortunately. Speedy recovery to Jay White. A lot of injuries this week. Fortunately, Orange Cassidy injured as well. Mark Davis just came back injured as well. Unfortunate. Feel really bad for him. But once Jay White was not in the picture, I was like, okay, how are you going to resolve that? Because it kind of felt like Jay White was going to come in. And so when the Bucks was there, I was like, oh. So, because this is the thing I've seen people do as well. Like, oh, well, you hate it, but it makes sense. I'm like, it can make sense, and I can still not like it. Because, yeah, of course, the Bucks still have an axe to grind with Swerve because they stood against him when he was champion. Like, he sided with Tony. He sided with the rest of the company against them in blood and guts. So this was them getting revenge by not letting him become champion again. That all makes sense, fine. But having them be away all this time and bringing them back to do this didn't really do it for me. I think that the Bucks as a heel act is kind of cold.
I don't remember that story. I'm like, I don't care about that shit. As the number one Young Bucks fan in the fucking world, I don't give a shit about them coming back to get Swerve. I wanted them to come back as baby faces with the fucking tassels. You know what I mean?
Yes. It feels like the Bucks right now as heels are cold.
Yeah.
And
I was happy to see them back because they're the Young Bucks, but I wasn't happy to see them back with the same shit. Is what I'm saying.
So hopefully this will get the heat on them to re-energize them as heels, but it sure feels like this is leading to the Hangman and Swerve thing leading to them being a tag team and not the match at All In, which I hoped, which is fine, but for my preference, it's not what I wanted to see.
I didn't know that that's what the All In little teaser thing was setting us up for. Like, oh, they're emphasizing Swerve and Hangman because they're going to be in a fucking tag team with each other.
And that's what I'm getting to. When it feels like the All In stuff was emphasizing this, and some of the backstage stuff was emphasizing something with them, it felt like, okay, you could do something special. They have not had a title match so far in any of their one-on-one matches. This felt like the way to do it. Like, this is the way to wrap up the babyface turn for Hangman, and this is it. You can put this match on a big stage, make it a championship match, and all of that is to tease for potentially a tag team run. That's not nearly as exciting. I mean, it's a good story, but it's not nearly as exciting.
And the match is going to be insane, but that's not really what this is.
I saw quite a few people, and I've seen this take on both social media apps at this point of, well, you guys are only disappointed because you fantasy booked something and it didn't go the way you wanted. And this is, as you know, guys that say that. This is guys that, you know, get on here and we do predictions for pay-per-views and all these other things, and I tell you guys what I think. And I hate that I have to say this because it's such a dumb excuse. It is such a dumb excuse. It just reeks of, you know, people are talking past each other. I'm saying something, but you're not actually listening to what I'm saying. You're saying what you think I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You can fantasy book something or try to predict something, and it doesn't come back, and it's disappointing. Sure. But that's not why people don't like this. People don't like this because this Moxley stuff isn't good.
Yes.
I don't like it. I'm saying out of my own mouth, I don't like this Moxley stuff. Well, you just wanted Swerve to win, and you wanted your prediction for how it ended. No, if this leads to Ospreay beating him at All In, great. I sure want it to end now because I just don't like it. It's the low point of the pay-per-views for me. I'm not enjoying it. That's it. I'm a fan of Swerve. I would have liked to Swerve beat him, but
at this point, it could be anybody, any of the top guys. You know what I mean? For me,
yeah. For the most part, it's just that I'm not enjoying this angle. That's it.
And like, I don't want to keep having these amazing fucking wrestling shows that are packed with some of the greatest, that we're the best wrestler and there's all this variety. And then the show keeps ending the same with the same angles and the same bullshit and the same thing. And we have this sour taste in our mouth because that's not what AEW deserves. Like, if they're giving people our time and money, like you guys, if we're so hyped about the show, that's going to leave a sour taste and it's going to continue to happen. People aren't going to accept it because the rest of the show is good. No, but you have to stick the landing. That's how you retain fans.
Yes. Yeah. I hate that idea that, oh, well, you didn't get what you wanted and now you're just on the internet crying, or I just didn't like this.
Yeah.
it could be just that simple.
We fantasy booked it. It could be because this shit sucks. That's also a thing.
Bro, there have been tons of things that I predicted and I got it wrong. I thought Garcia was going to retain.
Yeah.
But I was fine with what we got. I liked it. I liked it for Adam Cole. I think he deserved to win.
Me too.
It's fine.
This shit is just like, it can't. There's it's just the same thing. Way too many people against it. Way too many. It's just, I don't like, I hate it.
I never thought I would see the day when I've seen the AEW crowd turn into the Let It Play Out crowd. This is what you guys used to make fun of the Fed fans for being. And now you're going, oh, well, you guys are just impatient. You want instant gratification. You just want it to go your way. That's not what people are saying. People are saying, I genuinely don't like this storyline. End it.
Do something else.
That's it.
Yeah. And so Tony went on the scrum to say numbers. I didn't watch the scrum either.
Somebody, I think it was somebody from PWI that asked him, basically, like, when you see the response to this or something like this online, do you ever have any inclination? Yeah, it might have been Kevin. Mm-hmm. Do you have any inclination to pivot? And he gave a long-winded answer that was basically around like, well, when you see the metrics and, there's always, I love that, Swerve is very popular, but it's basically a non-answer. And like I said, I don't think it's wrong for him as a booker to go with his gut and decide this is the move.
Right.
I'm going to stay the course. Where it is, I don't even like saying the word troubling, but for the lack of a better word, is troubling, is that, like I said earlier, you've sold this company as we're not like them. we're the company that will listen to you, and if something's not working, we'll pivot. We've seen this multiple times. When Nightmare Collective wasn't working, we got rid of it.
Yep.
When other things weren't working, we cut it and got rid of it.
Dan
and
Lambert, niggas hated
Yes.
Dan Lambert. We were yelling their line every day. Eventually, they were like, "All right, we're tired of these people yelling."
Yes. I feel like it is very apparent that a big part of your fan base is not enjoying this.
Yeah.
And I think you digging your feet in and going, well, it's fine. We're just going to keep going to All In like we planned. I don't. And if it's going to All In, I don't know, but that's what it seems like. If I had to guess, it feels like Ospreay's winning. Ospreay versus Mox at All In. That makes sense to me.
It does.
I would hope Ospreay's winning there if that's where we're going. Maybe Hangman, but I don't think Hangman's winning the tournament now because I feel like the wild card is going to be Jack Perry now.
Jack Perry, yeah.
And I do think they're going to cost him the first round matchup, and that's going to continue to plant the seeds for this tag match.
For the tag match, yeah. This is all.
Yeah.
Like they're changing the trajectory of Swerve and Hangman to that now, and like, yeah, but at the sacrifice of the belt, I don't know. I'm down with we're getting to Will Ospreay, but we're gonna have to wait fucking 3 more months to get there, and that means we need 3 more months of Mox. I can't. That's
we're gonna keep going. We're gonna go to Double or Nothing with another title match and
the same finish as we've already seen 2 times.
Don't want it. I don't want it.
It's unfortunate, and like them to kind of not. I mean, like I said, I'm not mad at you for not pivoting. Like you could do whatever you want, but when it's starting to become go away heat and not I hate the Death Riders heat, people are going to start going away. And if you send people away, they won't come back.
Yeah, I saw people doing the usual. Well, this is their heels. You're supposed to hate this, and you're missing the point. No, we're not missing the point. Yes, we're supposed to hate them because they cheat and use interference to win. But I didn't see a lot of people like, oh, I'm so sick of these dastardly heels. No,
Nope.
I feel like a lot of people were like, this was the wrong decision, and they were mad at you as a company for doing this, not at the Death Riders.
Right. It wasn't like, oh, those Death Riders, they'll pay for this. No, it's like, I hate this shit. I'm turning it off.
I'm not enjoying this. Which is a shame because I thought this pay-per-view was good. Other than this, I thought last pay-per-view was very good. Probably one of the best AEW pay-per-views ever. And I mean, I feel like there's been a trajectory since Grand Slam where this company has been hot. The shows have been good. The weekly product has been better. Collision has been better than it's been in months.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like about this, about what's going on with AEW. It's just this. This is the only thing that I'm really not enjoying. And I
don't want to keep doing this. Like I'm saying, for the fans, for the company, for all this, we want to come on this show and talk and be like, that was an awesome show and they stuck the landing. That show was great. We don't want to come on here and be like, that was a great show and the ending fucking sucked. I don't want to do that at all.
No. And that's why every time I do this online where I'm like, man, I didn't like that. And I have to listen to people like, oh, well, look, this and this. I'm like, bro, I've spent the past 4 hours telling you how much I enjoyed the rest of this show. But as soon as I'm like, I didn't like this. Well, you just don't get it. No, I just don't like this.
You get everything else, Phil. You get all the other stuff, but just not this ending thing. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Why is this thing he doesn't get?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Bummer. It was a deflating way to end the show, but overall good pay-per-view.
Yes.
I am very curious to see where they go with Double or Nothing because I don't know who his opponent's going to be for Double or Nothing now. I don't see it being Swerve. I've seen people say
it's gonna be Swerve.
Because I think it would be a mistake if you run back Swerve at this point. He has to win.
Yep.
If he wins, then what are you going to do? You're going to have him go into All In with a 2-month reign, and I don't see it. I don't see them doing it.
Nope.
Maybe he doesn't have a title match.
Maybe they do, since we're not getting the Hangman match at All In. They do the Jack Perry thing like we described. He gets screwed out of the match, but he ends up getting the title match against Mox at Double or Nothing. Yeah. Since they're not gonna burn through it, but they're gonna do it since they're not gonna do it at All In, Yeah,
maybe it's Hangman Mox.
Yeah,
I
can see that.
I mean, we've got all of these factions set up. Maybe it's Anarchy in the arena match.
That's true. They have been building a lot of against, like now you're setting up the ops and setting up all this. They have been building a lot of people against them.
I think it would be because we got this stuff. I don't know if this is leading to anything, but they had Swerve shaking hands with MVP afterwards. I think it would be really cool if Swerve teamed up with Hurt Syndicate against Death Riders and Anarchy in an arena match. That'd be fun.
That is fun. Never thought about that. That could definitely be a thing. But yeah, I forgot about Anarchy in the arena. That is the Double or Nothing match. So I could see them there. That could eliminate having to get another number one contender for Jon Moxley.
Yes. Excited for the Owen.
Yeah. I think there's some good stuff that's gonna happen, and we still have great wrestlers and great matches and great moments, but this is such a bittersweet way to end the shows.
Yeah. We got super chats and humber chats left.
Yes, we do. Tenruza says, what is it with AEW not doing pay-per-view endings well at the moment?
I think there's a common denominator here because the endings were fine. This was the last two were not good.
Right. Yeah. Something's changed that has to do with this. I was gonna say they'll figure it out or they'll listen, but they haven't. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm in the same boat that you are.
Yeah. At least the build to this match was better.
That's true. That's true. Rick Young says Static Shock gear was fire. Need Hanger or Swerve to beat Mox.
Yes. Swerve getting his white friend Richie to help him defeat the bad guys.
Yes. Margie Love says, I met Swerve at a con before Dynasty, and we said we were excited to see him win. He said, talk to Tony Khan in a down kind of way. He knew, LOL, LOL. Well, then.
Talk to Tony Khan. It's hilarious. Yo.
Whoa. That sounds like Swerve.
Tony Khan.
That is.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like him again, like the Booker thing. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like some Swerve.
That was the con where Booker was, right?
Oh.
Apparently their tables were like right next to each other or something like that.
Really?
Awkward.
Tenders also says the idea of Christian or Kofi in a New Japan ring is mind-blowing. Will it ever happen? Also would be hilarious if Gallows Andersons come in with the Bucks soon. #BT.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Anderson's doing. He's been teasing things quite a bit. He keeps doing this new bio bit. So I don't know.
Sour Boy has made his return to the world. So, but yeah, I think we'll eventually see Cope at least in New Japan because because how he's talked about it throughout the history.
Mm-hmm.
Could see him in a Tanahashi doing something. I feel before Tanahashi calls it quits.
Sheldon Mysterio said, think Good Brothers are going to MLW. So another guy returned to MLW this week that I did not think we'd see. It was interesting development.
Court Bauer, funny guy.
If you guys have not
seen it, just put him in different roles, and it's fine.
Yeah, if you guys did not see it, Austin Aries was on tap at MLW show. Your friend was there. She was in the crowd.
Yeah, she was. They requested my friend to be there. And so I was like, hey, yeah. I'll bet you that's fun.
Yeah, Austin Aries was on commentary for that show.
I'm just going to move forward. Rick Young also says, first city to rap MVP's verse, acapella finna go crazy.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. Yellow Wild. Then Twin Blake said, what's happening here is Jericho is a punk ass and can't just lose clean. Also, we can move Jericho to catering, please, for the love of all that's good.
That is definitely not happening, guys. It's not happening.
No. This is Chris Jericho, and he's going to be here forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, he just said I think his contract's coming up, and didn't he just say he wouldn't be adverse to the idea of going back to the WWE or something?
I can see that.
I definitely think he's going to end up going back over there.
Before he retires, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to get his Hall of Fame and everything. That's definitely happening.
For sure. You think he's not about to get them rings? Come on. Matt Gray Sky says, why is it that everyone but Darby or Christian has fumbled the TNT title lately?
Yeah, TNT title has had a interesting stretch. Like, I didn't think the Jack run was as good as it could have been either.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Adam Cole is the guy that turns things around for that belt.
I think because the open challenge thing, just having these fools be open challenge, and they keep doing this thing with whoever they make the TNT champion, they immediately move them into a different title thing. So they don't even let them be in the TNT champion.
Yeah. Well, Adam Cole's got a lot of guys he could wrestle. I mean, straight away, you could run him versus Ricochet. Could run back that takeover match. I think there was takeover in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You got options with him.
Yeah, I think Adam Cole fills a wider net because they can just put him in main events, do all the things pretty instantly. So I think things could change. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Aaron's III says, love that card, F Booker T, and I can dig that.
Yeah, I've seen people definitively take sides in this, and I'm just like, I don't hate Booker. I just disagree with some things I've seen him say, and I'm just like, some things he's done that I don't agree with. But hey, Swerve has done things I disagreed with times, and he said things I didn't really agree with either.
Of course,
I don't think it's a great sign, despite me disagreeing with him, that he's fighting publicly with one of our legends. It just doesn't look good, and just how some people feel about Booker, they're just going to automatically take Booker's side no matter what, because he just represents something for a lot of wrestling fans.
Yeah, and people are probably going to listen to this and think we were being the Swerve Avengers, but when I was talking about Booker T, I was talking about black wrestling as a whole. I'm defending everybody. I'm not in here defending Swerve. I'm defending a bunch of guys and girls and people. Margie Love also that was after Matt's. Sorry, Matt Gray Sky also said, I'm a big Mox guy, worried Mox is going to gain a reputation like Jericho has now with the fans, thanks to this story. Is there any way to recover now?
I think ending will be fine. I think I'm now waiting for this to end with like Osprey or somebody beating him, and people are going to get online. See, you guys just had to be patient. Look, we got where we needed to be. I just know that's coming. It's only a matter of time. It's going to happen.
Coming, Phil. You know it's going to happen. Those people can't wait to say it. I think there is a way to recover. Like, just don't do these fucking same ass finishes. Like, Mox is still Mox. Like, the fans still think and feel about him how they want to. It's just like the booking is making the perception change, but there's always a way to recover.
Yeah, still love Mox. When he was cutting a promo a few weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, no, this guy is still one of the best talkers in the company. And man, when he had the match with Cope on TV and he did the nasty spike spot, I'm like, dude,
yeah,
he still has matches I enjoyed. It, like I said, the mixed tag match was still really enjoyable.
Still for the love of the game. If it's not about all that bloodline fake interference shit, it's fun.
Yeah.
Margie Love also says, in my opinion, men's world title scene has been downhill since Swerve's first loss.
I can see that. I do think that right now it's been on an upswing with the women. I think the women have been killing it.
Yeah, it's night and day. Because even what Margie's kind of describing here, when Brian had the belt, he was in some weird shit too. They didn't really let him cook the way that they should. So yeah, it's been an interesting booking for like the last year almost of the world title.
Yeah.
Meet Norma says, last two AEW pay-per-views had great wrestling, but wet fart finishes. I love you like a fat kid loves cake, but get it together, TK. No Hobbs in the tourney. Nasty.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Hobb in there, but Hobbs been great since he came back. So yeah, maybe they've got other plans for him.
Hopefully they got something lined up for him because he's been extra on some shit recently. Amir El-Korani says, let it play out and trying to hype themselves for a Hangman Swerve coexist story. Nasty work.
That's where we're going, buddy. And I think the tag team stuff can be fun. I think this leading to those guys having a tag team match against the Bucks. Again, think that can be good, but when it felt like this was going in a different direction and it's going that direction, not as exciting, but it still can be good.
I mean, I don't think any of us thought the resolution to Swerve and Hangman was for them to become tag team champions or anything. Like, we kind of wanted to see a fight forever type deal, but I see.
Yeah.
Jonathan Contreras says, imagine if TK is waiting for Darby to be the guy.
You can't.
Too long.
It's going to take too long.
Right. Like, he's supposed to start the mountain thing later this month, and then that's time. And, like, it's too much time. Like, he should eventually be the guy, but they have to get him back and then can start building it again, you know?
Yeah.
And then LaRon Ford said, I mostly enjoyed Dynasty, but they have to find a way to get more than 4 women on these pay-per-view cards.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just because the women have been doing so well, I think it's at least promising that they're consistently doing the 2 matches now.
Right.
Before, we were only getting 1. So it's progress. It's just
baby steps.
We'd like to see more.
But yeah, I agree. I think they should put more, especially with how long some of these cards are sometimes. It's like there's definitely space for it.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people saying that it feels like Tony should be the main eventer now because her matches have been more enjoyable. People love Tony. And I just don't see it. It's the world championship. They're going to put the world championship on last.
That's wrestling. That's pro wrestling. That's how it is. The men's world championship, we should say. Because that's just historically how it's been and historically how it's going to be. That's all of our super chats. I appreciate y'all.
We got one last humper chat from Anonymous. He says, first AEW pay-per-view, I've been left speechless twice in my life. Once was seeing the Michael Kidd, Funkadelic, Hampton perform Maggot Brain live. The other was seeing Kenny versus Ricochet versus Speedball live.
Hot. Yeah, I could imagine that's one of those matches that was going to be 100 miles per hour. If you wanted to show what AEW's about, that's probably what you would show them.
Yep, definitely. That's all of our humper chats.
Mm-hmm.
All of our super chats. Last call on those. Before we get out of here, we had a pair of resolutions for our main events for WWE WrestleMania 41. We'll get into the CM Punk favor first because this is another where they let your imagination go wild with directions where this could go, and the actual end result was just like, wait a minute, that's it?
That's it? That's how I felt.
Yeah, and I mean, the segment itself, I like the segment, but I was just kind of like, wait, that's it?
Yeah, why?
So, yeah, Chicago, Illinois, CM Punk came out to open the show. No surprise. Guy still very over in the city, beloved in the city. Came out, did his spiel. I'm very happy to be here, very happy to be main eventing for the first time in my life. He picked up the camera. He was hamming it up. Great. Paul Heyman came out and was like, hey, can you do me a favor? He was like, yeah, sure. We're doing a lot of favors over here. What's the favor? Can you tell me what this favor is? He says, well, is Roman Reigns here? No. He's like, okay, well, let me know when he gets here. At least Roman coming out. Roman did the fastest entrance I've seen him do in probably 3 years. His music cuts on. We watched him walk all the way from Gorilla, came all the way down, no stopping and pausing for poses, no pyro, came all the way down to the ring. It was like, hey, let's get this over with. What is this? What is this favor? What's going on? I don't know how you guys put up with this guy, Chicago. You guys are fine. You're good people, but you're not very smart. How do you put up with this guy? Which I was looking around like, this guy, babyface, what's he doing?
He's talking crazy.
Kind of feels like he's the same guy that he was 2 years ago, just a little bit more happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This leads to Rollins coming out. Rollins did some instigating and at the Punk's music. I will give this credit and I remember a few years ago in a group chat, I was like, man, the biggest match they can do of this generation is Punk versus Roman.
Yes.
When those guys are together in the ring, it's electric. it feels like a massive deal. And so when he came out and they had the music and everything, I was like, no, this is major. It almost felt like Rollins was a third wheel because I'm like, this is huge. But this is why I didn't want the triple threat match. You could either do one of these matches or the other. I don't think you're really getting to it by trying to squash all of this into one match.
To one. Yeah, because you can tell a greater story with two than you can three. Because you're convoluting it and it's adding too much to it with the elements when it could just be the one-on-one thing.
Yeah, and I feel like Rollins' motives have taken the biggest hit here.
Right.
Because he's kind of just like, well, I don't care about all of those accomplishments that I got to being champion, winning the main event and all this stuff. I have to just stop this guy. Everything else is taking a backseat to stopping CM Punk from getting in the main event.
But then he's still in the main event.
Yes.
So
we get to the favorite stuff. We're doing the inside baseball again of Punk saying, hey, remember when we were together here at this arena before you were ECW, and they said I didn't belong there. They said I didn't belong here. They said I didn't belong here. And you kept saying at every turn, you got to make them believe you belong. And he goes very pointedly, well, they're not here anymore. So we're going to make you believe that I belong here, Roman. And I was just like, that don't really hit the way it probably should because Vince isn't there. But it's still problematic, but I digress.
He's still kind of is.
He goes, my favor that Paul Heyman will be in my corner at WrestleMania 41. And the response to this was tremendous. Tremendous. Roman doing that's it. That's all you want. Paul, tell this guy you're not going with him and let's get up out of here. Paul's sitting there the whole time tearing up. He's like, what are you crying? He's like, go ahead. Tell him you're not going to go with him. And it very much felt like when your girlfriend finds out, when the girlfriend finds out that she was not the girlfriend all along, she was the mistress. And she's just like, what is he talking about? We're together, right? Tell him you guys have nothing. There's nothing, right?
And
he's like, I can't tell you that.
Can't say that.
And so this leads to him going, I can't tell you no, my tribal chief. And then Punk beats him up in the corner, lifts him up for the GTS as Paul Heyman is screaming no the entire time, puts him on his back. That's how we end SmackDown, with Punk standing tall with the sign in the background, staring down, Rollins in the corner. I think the segment itself was good because Paul Heyman is just fantastic. His acting in it, amazing. Him doing I had no choice. You were in trouble, and I had to get you help. And my tribal chief I had to do this.
Yeah, I think that the favor just being him in his corner, they could have thought a little bit deeper about that for sure.
I think that it would work better. And this is going to get people back into their, well, you can't get everything you fantasy book. I think it would have worked better if he won the Rumble. If he won the Rumble and the favor was, you're going to be in my corner when I win the championship at WrestleMania, and it left Roman with nothing, as Cody predicted. And then that set up the match with Rollins where he's going up against Rollins, stripped of all of the bloodline stuff. It hits different. But now it's like, okay, sure, but now you're in this triple threat match. What are the stakes?
Right. Are there any?
It just don't quite hit the same. And I kept waiting for him to go, the favor is whoever wins this match is going to be number one contender. For whoever wins the second night main event. Something right. That would be a payoff of the rest of this. But no, it's just, we're just going to enter WrestleMania together.
And like just for like one time, that's it? Like, okay.
Yeah, just like we did 10 years ago, which they have the chance to make this great because, of course, the last time he was at WrestleMania 29. That was the Taker match. That's when he came out, played down to the ring by Living Color. They walked down to the ring. The last time with him as his manager, tossing the urn back and forth. All-time great entrance. Probably one of Punk's best WWE matches, in my opinion.
Yes.
But yeah, this was very anticlimactic. I thought the promo itself and the segment around it was very good, but just to get that's it. Just this is the favor. I was like, oh, okay.
And there was kind of a lot of build up for this too. Like Roman being out doesn't help too. So you're like continuously kind of trying to get to this moment, and you're like, okay, that's all.
Yeah, a lot of anticipation just for that, and yeah, I thought it could have been much better, but I think it only worked because Paul Heyman is just so good. His chemistry with both Roman and Punk was so good, and then Rollins in the background laughing at the whole thing. Like I told you, I tried to tell you, Roman, none of this would work out for you. And I love that it's kind of giving us the end of the Cody stuff, of Cody saying you're going to end up alone. You're going to end up with no tribe, and Paul Heyman is going to leave you. And I've said this before on this podcast too, because, buddy, Paulie is for the streets, man. Paulie is not loyal to nobody. We've seen this multiple times throughout his career. He's not loyal to anybody. So,
and like, if anybody would know, Roman would know. Like, you fought against Brock Lesnar for years, and Paul Heyman was on Brock Lesnar's side.
See, you got it messed up, because when it was happening, he was like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean he's gonna go with you? He loves me. He needs me." I was like, "Dog, no, you got this messed up. This is business."
Yep.
You didn't. You're in too deep. You don't realize it's over for you, buddy. You're not champion no more.
I was gonna say, if you know the history of Paul Heyman, he likes championships, and you haven't had a championship for a while, and like that's probably his number one thing.
Oh, it's over. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, all of the way that it played out, like I said, great segment, kind of anticlimactic. Better segment, I thought, was the Cody and Cena promo from Monday. They needed this very badly, because this has been turning into a slog since the turn. All of the segments have been very similar, of Cena coming out and going, well, you guys deserve this, or giving us the you people variation. It's like, okay, get to something else.
Right. Yeah, you got to move something. It has to be something more, some more meat on the bone. You can't just keep saying, you guys all did this, you deserve this, and I'm going to do this for me. It has to be something else. They finally gave us something else. It feels like they try to add some like personal digs to it. There's some AEW shots, and then there's all kind of stuff just kind of littered throughout this.
Yeah. I wondered what will happen once these guys get to this part, because this is where Cena is at his best. We've seen this guy bar up a few guys.
Right.
I mean, he damn near barred up The Rock. So I was like, okay, how is Cody going to fare? This is going to be the real test of Cody as champion. And Cody did his 8 Mile bit where he came out and he tried to take his ammunition away from him. Like, what are you going to say about me? You're going to say this? You're going to say that?
I am white. I am a fucking bum. Yeah, I see you, Cody.
he tried to get his B Rabbit gimmick off, and Cena came with some heavy bars from him. He was like, "Nah, bro, you're a fraud. You're a mark for yourself. You're so much of a mark for yourself. You put your logo on your neck." And I was like, "How has nobody said that yet? Like, that's such a heavy hitting bar." And I was like, "How has nobody said that in a promo yet?"
I was like, nah, Cena was kind of spitting on a couple of these though, because like the perception is something, but if you like kind of start to break it down, you get to moments like that.
Yeah, of course. Cody brought out that big joker of like, no, the difference between me and you right now is they chose me.
Yep.
The person that chose you isn't here anymore. And I was like, well, you can't say much about that. And then, even better than that, and this is when I was like, oh no, Cody might have fried him. He was like, the reason I could go away and create an alternative is because you created so many disenfranchised fans. It made it so easy for me to go somewhere else and make something else. And I was like, damn, I was one of those disenfranchised fans. So he making points.
That potentially is the realest bar of the whole thing, because like that is the reason why why alternatives started being creative, because John Cena was at the head of WWE.
Yes. It's also a big part of the reason why I initially became a Punk fan, because I was not a John Cena guy, which John got some cap off. Like multiple guys have come out here and tried to do this, what you're doing, and nobody has succeeded. Nobody. Punk put you in the dirt in 2011. I ain't trying to hear that. That's I'm not trying to hear that. We were there, bro. Roman ended you as well. Like I ain't trying to hear that.
A couple of guys have got the job done.
Yes. Yeah, no, he then he even tried to come back with no, you said that as a bad thing. I made Empire for billionaires. You just took somebody's son's money and ran away. I was like, they was firing. I thought it was a great promo overall. They needed this very badly. Cody, I think, came away winning this, especially towards the end when Cena thought he had him. He was like, man, nobody has ever chanted at me, you can't wrestle. I was like,
that is true. Can't come back from that one. Cannot come back from that one. Yeah, there was both of them had some lines. Both of them had a little bit of cap, but that's how it goes in wrestling.
yeah. No, it was a little cap in Cena's rap several times. I was like, that was a nice little flip you threw on there, but there's some lines to that a little bit.
But he should. He's a heel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, Cody I thought won this segment overall. He thought he was going to sneak him afterwards, hit him with the crossroads, left him lying, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's winning. I definitely think Cena is winning this championship in 10 days.
Definitely. I'm like, I would be so surprised if Cody leaves with that belt.
Yes.
The most surprised.
Yeah, just because all of the vibes around it, just some of the stuff he's saying, it just kind of feels like it's heading in that direction. I thought initially this is going to be the passing the torch moment. It don't feel like that.
No. Like maybe he'll get it back to Cody later, but he's definitely winning the belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Is there a real heat discourse? I was sitting watching this and I kept waiting to see, all right, because these guys are going back and forth, okay, who is this crowd going to favor? No, they're still favoring Cody.
Cody is fucking over.
It's still Cody's crowd. And it's the same thing as that Tiffany promo where once she was like, nope, I'm the people's guy. They're behind me, not you. And really, they've never really been behind you. And that's what I've been waiting for so long for him to say. Because I'm like, bro, you were the company guy. You can say what you want, and you did the hustle loyalty, and you used to come out and do all of the I go to make a wish. But no, you were always the company's pick. You were not my pick. I never was a Cena guy.
Cody could have almost hit the same line that Tiffany hit. Like, you have been fighting for so long against everybody you thought you were fighting against, but you really been fighting against the fans, because it really has been a fight for most of Cena's career with, I mean, he's even said it in a lot of his Hills promos of like, I tried to give you guys everything and you never accepted me.
Yeah. We didn't accept you because it felt fugazi at one point, buddy. There are parts about this that felt inauthentic, and we saw it.
Like, I'll do whatever you want me to do, boss. He like got into that point, and it's like there's some people that are going to be on your side with it, but there're going to be a bunch of people that are like, oh, we don't want this shit.
Yeah, when he turned into ultra patriotic Cena, I was even more off. Like, yeah, nope, this ain't for me.
I'm okay.
And Cody understands that. He tried to do his ultra patriotic thing, and that didn't work either.
He got instant feedback on his.
Instant feedback. Didn't he focus group that promo? Nobody in that focus group was like, nah, don't do this.
I don't know who he was talking to in that focus group, but as soon as he got in front of that live crowd, they were like, absolutely not, Cody.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came back. He's the man now.
Yeah, definitely needed this. I thought that this made the main event feel like, all right, we're here now. Big match. I mean, it was already a big match, but this felt like the build we've been waiting for. Still waiting for the three-way to kick into that gear. Hasn't quite happened yet. Maybe we'll get something tonight on Raw. Maybe something on SmackDown. We've got, surprisingly, it's less than 2 weeks until WrestleMania. It's just crazy.
Time is ticking. It's about to be up next week. They were getting into it pretty much.
Yeah, I said 10 days. I have that wrong. I'm in my head thinking, when is my flight? My flight isn't 10 days. Yeah. It's WrestleMania, of course, is the 19th and the 20th. So it's in 12 days.
Still soon, regardless.
Very soon. Yeah, excited for WrestleMania weekend. But I don't know if we have any more super chats.
We have one more from our homie Leonard Aarons III, who says, Triple K stays bamboozling folks with his creative.
Triple K. Triple K is wise, bro.
It is what it is. Thank you, Leonard Harris III. We appreciate you always with your Triple H feedback.
Trying to wait for the screen to refresh to see if we have any more Humper chats. Well, I now have Triple K in my brain. Kobe, Kyrie, Katie, pick a K.
That's crazy.
Okay, we have one last one from Van Twinblade. He says, belt not in a briefcase. It's in a safety deposit box in a bank vault in Cincinnati. Swerve, Darby, Hanger, Willow, Ospreay, and 6 other wrestlers have to break into the vault and steal the belt from under a state-of-the-art security system and armed guards. What is this, Ocean 11?
I know. I was like, this sounds familiar, this plot.
Yeah.
Somebody do have to hijack it, though.
We got enough of this. That's all of our Humper chats. Appreciate you guys as always for hanging with us for a Monday edition of Grapsody.
Thank you.
Like I said, we will be back on Saturday at our regular scheduled time.
Mm-hmm.
Can pull up to that. Can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Grapsody.
Yes, sir. Watch that Mike Bailey interview that we conducted very recently and subscribe.
Yeah. That's no, I have nothing else. I was trying to look and make sure I have any more chats, but we don't have anything else. Someone asked, what did we think of the Ray Phoenix debut? That was dope.
I thought it was hilarious because a lot of the same people, he did a lot of spots that the people on that side were like, this isn't wrestling. This guy sucks. I can't believe these guys are people. And he did it over there and everybody was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't think it was funny for that reason. I thought it was funny that they've done this twice with the Lucha Bros now. Brought Penta to San Jose, and my guy was like, no, won't be there. Brought Ray Phoenix to Chicago. I was like, no, won't be there. They were like, yeah, we're going to get one of these guys.
We're going to get one of these guys. Nope, didn't work. I thought it was fun. Definitely a great introduction for him. He did some shit. He was Ray Phoenix. Like, I'm not surprised that he killed it.
No, I think he looked great presentation. And I mean, the thing that WWE does well, they will always once they put the machine behind you and they are packaging you as a guy that they're invested in, they're off to the races already. Got the mask up there. They got the merch out there with his face with the fire and stuff behind it. Great. I think that's dope for him. Always happy to see wrestlers getting better opportunities. And it felt like the same thing with Penta, where once they let him talk afterwards, I'm like, yeah, probably should just let these two guys cut some promos more because they're pretty good at it.
Right. Like, why weren't you giving them the chance to do this? It's kind of surprising.
Yeah. And put him in there with Frazier. Like, if anybody you're going to put him in there, that makes all the sense of the world. He can have a good match with Nathan Frazier. They're going to go and do the flippy stuff. Nathan Frazier is unreal, bro. The change of direction and stuff he was doing in that match, just crazy.
He's so fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the debut. It just SmackDown in its 3 hours, it just feels like you got to get past all of their filler to get like, okay, something's happening now. So no, it was cool. It was cool. I thought, I don't know. I'm just sitting thinking there was no way I would have sat through that entire thing.
It's long.
I'm like, get us a pay-per-view again here in Chicago.
It's even longer when you're in the crowd too. Like, it's long on TV, but it's super long when you're sitting in the crowd.
But yeah, man, good for Ray Phoenix. Penta is on his way to potentially having his first WrestleMania match. Seems like he's going to be in that multi-man for the Intercontinental Championship. The rumor is at this point, Ray Phoenix is going to wrestle Andrade, which hopefully so. Get Andrade on the card, do something with this guy. And those two guys can have a good match. So
yeah, totally. At the end of the day, like, just seeing these two guys go toe to toe, bar for bar, you're gonna get something dope.
Yeah. Also, well wishes to Kevin Owens. He announced that he will not be a part of WrestleMania because he needs neck surgery. Terrible news to hear at this juncture. With the run he's been having as a heel, that sucks. Was looking forward to him versus Randy Orton, and he's had such a good run of WrestleMania matches since he re-signed. I thought this was just going to be another one. So sucks to hear it, but it is what it is. I hope that he at least seemed like he was in good spirits when he made the announcement. Hopefully surgery goes well and he's back soon.
Damn, sending love out to my homie. You guys know how I feel about Kevin Owens, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, one of the greatest independent wrestlers of all time. He's been in some of my favorite WWE WrestleMania matches ever. This is so unfortunate. Worst timing for him because, like you said, he's had so many great WrestleMania moments. Thought he was going to do it again. I just hope he's okay. I hope he can live a great life. I hope this neck surgery and things are okay. I hope it's like, forget about the wrestling. I hope he could like spend time with his family and be okay in his regular healthy life. So love out to him with the surgery. Deserves greatness, deserves it all. Shout out to Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I don't know what Randy Orton will be doing. I saw people saying, what should he be doing? I'm like, man, put Melo in that spot. What's Melo doing at WrestleMania? Melo versus Orton could be the match. Do that.
I'm like, are they trying to put Nick Aldis in it? Like, they had the spot happen.
Yeah, the IC title 4-way is official according to Zeno Hour. So that will be Finn Balor versus Brian Baker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta.
That's what's up.
Don't put that belt on Dom. Don't play
Do
with
not.
WWE. Don't you do it. Don't you do this to us.
They're going to be tempted because it's WrestleMania. I know you guys are, but don't you do it.
Don't.
Oh my God, so good.
That is a good place to leave you guys. Appreciate you again for pulling up for Monday. We will be back Saturday. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Righteous Reg. We are out of here.